know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you own it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you own it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you own it. We got what you want, you can have it.
Orientation in this place we call Earth. Love from conception, from your mom, your birth. Pops planted the seed in the turf. From there, you must find out what life is worth. Grew up learning your do's and don'ts before working on your motor skills, working on your coordination, right? And orientation to what you like. The brand new thing, so gentle the soul we're capturing. In this distance, the alphabets the kids sing. They celebrate when it's time to go outside. As you get older, you learn to let all the troubles in your life just glide away. Stay focused, keep it smooth, keep you cool. Things in life can make it get rude. If you let it, don't let it. 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 If you let it, let it, let it, what? If you let it, don't let it, let it. If you let it, what? Don't let it. If you let it, don't let it, let it. Don't let it.
We got what you need, you own it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you own it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you own it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you own it. We got what you want, you can have it. We embark on this journey through your soul. We wanna have a good time. We embark on this journey through your soul. We wanna have a good time. We do something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I, on a mission to salvation. Our spirit be our transportation. Within your doom, a little love and that is true. For real, we bring something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I. We got what you need, you own it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you own it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you own it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you own it.
Every day the children dying. What about the children crying? No.
What about the kids?
Don't forget the children.
Tell them about the children.
What about the children crying?
Yeah. Digging, scratching, working, struggling, hoping. Some is hustling, every man hustling. Stay alive, that's the game. It don't matter if another gets slain. Pain, recession, other cats want a war. We got the weapon, people want bombs, so they gon' get them. This is the rhythm, the politics ticking. It's sad how we living in this life. It's gonna be a time that we change. Shit is not finite, life is the same. Motherfuckers killing each other to make a claim. Stop that bullshit, you have no respect for each other. You know the truth, you come from your mother, your sister, your brother. So love one another. If we make that change, the whole world will do the same. So listen.
Only there's one love. Every day the children dying. What about the children crying? No.
What about the kids?
Don't forget the children.
Tell them about the children.
What about the children crying?
I wish someone would tell me when is the suffering gonna stop. I see time ticking, fuck your watch. There comes a time when man steps to the plate, but it won't matter if your mentality is fake. Where I'm from, we got a system, overcrowded prisons, 2 cents an hour, man. Listen, shit don't change if we keep exploiting each other. One day you find out you only did it to your brother. A homeless mother, a baby, no supper. She got a husband and father, they both love her, but they can't find work cause the people with the power, they got a strange way to govern. Their price tag say nothing. Life is funny, then again it's really not. People dying for what other people got. I asked God if he can come and change the shit. He said, hell no, it's you that's gotta change this.
All right, 1 2 1 2. It is Saturday the 13th, lucky number 13, June 08:56 a.m. Central European time. That makes it 2:56 in the middle of the night, a.m. Eastern Standard American time. What's going on to everybody out there in the world? Big up to the world. You know what I'm saying? Don't let Trump make the world boring again through just the same old dinosaur games. You know what I'm saying? Like, same old shit anybody could have guessed he would have done. Boring. Totally boring. Him and the Republicans raise the debt. Just keep increasing the debt, not paying the debt off. You know what I mean? And then hand it over to the Democrats to save the economy, and then have people complain that they ain't doing enough. Yeah, been there, seen that. It's kind of boring. I'm not into Groundhog Day, but obviously some Americans are into Groundhog Day. And hey, if that's how you like it, that's how you like it, man. But I don't know. You know how many of y'all are into astrology? I'm an Aries. So I like fine things, and I don't like the same shit all the goddamn time. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. I put my best foot forward in my work. You know what I mean? I try to be thoughtful. I try to be considerate. I care. I have a lot of empathy for others. I'm a very loyal and trustworthy person. You know what I'm saying? Very loyal and trustworthy. But but I do like fine things, and I also don't like the same thing over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. It doesn't matter what it is. I get bored of things like that quick. And, so I want to thank everybody for coming through to check out my podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised how many people just watch. You got nothing better to do, man. I thank you. I appreciate y'all. That means I'm doing something. I don't get, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not bragging. You know what I'm saying? We working on it. We're working on a plan to get back where we were. But I mean, 5,000, 8,000 views, that's not bad a video. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm happy to be received that way. And I am actually a loyal individual, hardworking individual. I remember when I started this podcast, there was people who used to come out and say, you do this for money. You're only saying it for money. Or people say, they focus on certain kind of superficial things, and they try to guess about who you are, things like this. I mean, you get that a lot on the internet. And I got to tell you, though, to be honest with you, if you have a person like me on your side, first of all, I only roll with people that have integrity, you know what I'm saying, and put in hard work. And know a little bit, intelligent people, you know what I'm saying? People that have some know-how, not just theoretical, but practical, you know what I'm saying? And also got decent morals, you know what I mean? Like, most people will tell you that I'm a stand-up guy, and I take my friendships and relations pretty serious, you know what I'm saying? So, but I love my country, and that's why I'm doing this, Actually, I've had the pleasure of organizing a few demonstrations here outside of the U.S. Embassy, and along with others too. And, I've been very fortunate to understand, even before that, the value of community activism. Like, a lot of people that don't know this, that don't research, right? I actually have a book out there. It's called Afro Dane, A Successful Story. And I wrote it about my, research in the Afro-Danish community, the black community in Denmark. Research that had not really been done. Yeah, I'm actually known for that in Denmark. I'm actually one of the guys that really did kick off the first real research on the black community in Denmark, So I'm just going to really just cut to the chase. I'm saying, if you underestimate me, go right ahead. But I know one thing for sure. Nobody who's serious does, you know what I'm saying? Because, I like to finish the things I start, and I like to do things properly now. So I did that study, but, and we had an organization here where we brought a lot of what our findings were to the public. And but the difference between us is we didn't do it out of hate for somebody else. We did it out of love for Denmark, love for the community, and understood that there was an element there of not tracking and not having data on the black experience in Denmark. And so you can't really talk about that experience without really having the data and collecting it. So it's so to make relations stronger. You know what I mean? Good relations that were already good, but stronger. You know what I mean? And a lot has changed in that 20 something years. You know what I mean? That was like 20 years ago. You know, there's some significant things that have changed. There's still more changes coming, but there were some significant things. Like, number one, it's not really popular to use the N word in Denmark anymore. At one time, you would see news outlets use it. You know what I mean? And really, what had to happen was somebody had to have the due diligence to actually explain why that's not a good thing for Denmark, for Danes to do, and how it hinders their own position in the world. You see what I mean? Their own ability to navigate others, right? And of course, some Danes were taught a lot of historic untruths. You know what I mean? And kind of mimic some of the patterns you hear about others. You know, they would say things like, well, it just means black, or the N word just means black, because that's what they were told when the last generation in Denmark has been told that. 2 generations in Denmark have been told that. That's what they've been told. But they've never really had people go and go into the history of the word and go back. Same thing with the word mulatto, of course. You know what I'm saying? We call it the M word. People don't know that's a derogatory term, and they really don't know the background of the term. It pretty much is the term they use for slaves. The N word and M word is the word that people literally use for their slaves. And there's some particular meaning behind it, and the meaning is very harsh. One is the N word is what they call their slaves from Africa, the ones with the dark skin, right? N words, right? And that's what they call them. A lot of people try to debate where the word comes from. It doesn't matter. This is actually what you literally called your colonial slaves. That's the important part. Don't try to get out of that. And people remember that. And if you're into language, you're into human rights, you know that every group of people, it's their own right to self-identity. They're the ones who tell you how to identify them. It's not the other way around. I call Danish people Danes because that's what they chose for themselves. Why should I call them something else? Right? Shouldn't I acknowledge them for who they are? No need to change it. That's who they are. That's part of their human right. And that's part of their history. And it's the same for other people. No need to, enforce and change the rules for other people. So we introduced another term, and the other term was Afro-Dane. And so it's popularized now in Denmark. Some people use it. A lot of people use it. Some people don't use it. But now it's a popular term. Now Danes have an alternative term to call people like this that helps them navigate relations better. And folks appreciate it because a lot of people that look like me grow up in Denmark, born in Denmark, and maybe their parents also, things like this. So when you have terms help people navigate populations and navigate reality, because reality is not finite. It changes. So the new things, you got to have terms, and you got to have people out there explaining them and doing other things and doing it in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, Denmark is a country that is very much freedom of speech and very much democracy. So they believe in the right to demonstrate. Denmark is a strong country with that. If you want to have a demonstration in Denmark, you know what you do? All you got to do is go to the computer. Like myself, if I want to have a demonstration in 24 hours, 48 hours, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly how to do the paperwork. It's just on the computer, 2 different places you need to go to file the paperwork and explain exactly what you're doing and know the law, so you know what you're planning on doing falls within the structure of the law, so you don't have to, so you can explain it once and then you get your permit. Actually, you could do it without a permit. You know what I mean? So oh, by the way, anybody can hop up here. Let me put this here, because I notice I don't want to scare people. You should come up. People should come up and let folks hear them. Let folks know that what their ethnicity is, their background, you know what I mean? Because it better helps other people understand who you are, you know what I mean? Because people, you don't get that out of just a term on YouTube, but in any case, that's why I'm up here doing this. So you get a chance to hear me, right. And know I'm pretty much authentic. Right. But in any case, you could do this shit online in Denmark, and it's 24 hours. I mean, you don't even have to wait for the paperwork if you know what you're doing. But yeah, it's that simple. So Denmark is pretty strong on demonstrations, and not just demonstrations, but freedom of speech. So it happens a lot in Denmark. So luckily, people, they like that. They like that when we did things and began to get in the media and talk about these kind of topics, like the relations people of African descent have in Denmark, what the laws are regarding the UN. Yeah, because you need to know that too. What, how the law is changing within the EU. Yeah, you need to know that too, because a lot of it is about law. If you want to deal with politicians, right, you need to be able to explain yourself within the structure of the law, right? Human rights law and EU law and Danish law, all three things. So you have to know the Straffa law, also 266B, the discrimination law. You see what I mean? There's a lot that goes along with it. And you need to be willing to go out and do, like in our case, some research, interview people, go out and hold meetings with the population, the group concerned, and kind of ask them questions to hear what their realities were. And in Denmark, that hadn't been done before. So people didn't really know what the conversations were behind doors, with closed doors, because people don't always express themselves, especially if they don't feel like they can without being ridiculed or things like that, So things have changed a little in Denmark, and big up to Denmark for navigating that change pretty well, I mean, first of all, there is a discussion about human rights and civil rights always in Denmark openly, and yeah. So big up to Denmark for that. I can only speak for myself. What my experience was, I can't speak for other people's experience, but I know I had a real good time. As a matter of fact, maybe I should pull up something to review that real quick for my audience, because I don't typically go into this. You know what I mean? I'm an artist at heart. You know what I mean? So I've always been into art. I've always been into creating things, right? And but and I didn't ever really plan on being involved in human rights or civil rights or anything. That's not, my parents were involved in human and civil rights. So since I grew up while they were involved in that, I was born in the 70s. So my parents, are coming out of the 60s, with their, 50s and 60s, with their advocacy. So when you're a child of parents that are activists and politically active, you don't necessarily want to do that because, as a kid, your instinct is me. I want the attention. I want the attention on me. I don't want to go to some boring meeting. Why are you talking to more people? You know what I'm saying? As a kid, that's how it translates a lot, So I never even wanted to be involved in human rights. But the thing is that you don't walk on earth alone. And you walk in spaces with other people. And the less other people know about you, the easier it is for someone else to come in and make folks afraid of you. So there's a little saying in Denmark some Americans have in Denmark, right? And American guy, actually a black American guy told me this, guy's from Philly, right? He told me this a long time ago. He said, whatever you want to have in Denmark, bring it with you, And what he meant is that you need to show people who you are, because it's like, they won't know if you don't show them. And so even though they might know a lot of things about your culture and your history, but they don't necessarily know what is, everything about you. So if you want people to meet you well, you need to go out and make a positive presentation of yourself. And you could do that in a lot of ways, So hold on, let me get here. I'm sorry I'm talking so long. Let me get, did I open this up? Oh, here it is right here. Sorry, I'm messing with the wrong one. Yeah, that's what it was. I opened up the wrong thing. So here you can, let me see here. I'm going to pull up a couple of things and then we get on with the show. Elon Musk made a lot of money now. He's a trillionaire now. Congratulations. Yay. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. How that matters. Why do you need $1 trillion? The only thing you're going to do with $1 trillion is try to buy everything you can and all the people you can. What are you going to do with it? You're going to do something good? I mean, was SpaceX your idea? Who funded SpaceX? The United States did. So, he's walking away. I guess he stole the idea for Tesla. Now he's a billionaire. He's looking for a new jump. I mean, listen, one thing you know about the universe is what goes up must come down. So let's see here. Let me see here. Yeah. I'm just having a slow morning, y'all. Sorry about that. I was up all night at work, and so I'm just getting in, having a little latte, and so yeah, I'm gonna have my morning, and then probably get my lunch, and then crash out in the afternoon here. Now, let me pull this up on the screen just so people kind of know. Some people don't know. A lot of trolls wouldn't know this because they don't really research. Trolls don't know this because they don't research at all. They just talk shit on their fucking internet, boy. Woo! And that really is nice. I don't know. Can you all see this? Hold on. Is this the right one? I brought the wrong one up. Let me flip over. Here we go. I think it's getting better. Here we go. So you see this, right? Oh, wow. Yeah. Is this not the right one? Is this better? Can y'all see that? There you go. You see? This is in 2016 for people that don't know. 2016 right there, right? You see, this is the article from 2016, and you can see the topic. It says the N word right there. So we had to do a lot of public outreach on TV, in newspapers, in the media, right? To have that conversation publicly. And of course, if you come off like a person that hates the country, or a person that hates other people, or a person that's enraged, or a person that doesn't have an argument that they really are interested in explaining, because you really have to explain many times, you're not going to have as much success with any topic or any people. Like, nobody likes to be approached in a way that maybe they don't understand or don't think that they've earned. You see what I mean? So it's important to go out and whatever it is you're doing, if you want to make a change in society, do it from your heart. Do it with the best intentions. Do it with the intentions of helping the society that you live in, not necessarily criticizing the society you live in. You see what I mean? You got to be willing to do that. That's really what it takes. But in any case, so let me open this article up. This one's called "Just Call Me Yosef." So we had this argument, right? About we had this conversation about what is the big deal? Why do you need the right to use the N word when the N word to us means slave? Because that's what even your nation called your property when they were humans. That was the N word was that term. It's not about what you think it means today. It's about someone else. It's about the target's experience when you use the term. So that's me to the left, and that's my homeboy Yosef to the right. He was the president. I was the vice president at that time. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people actually know us for this, but we went out and strengthened the society. We didn't go out and attack people. We didn't make ourselves seem like we're better than other people when we did it. And in fact, we talked a lot about that, myself and Yosef, about how people think and what the root problems are. And, you have to understand the good, not just the bad. Right. So we were able to change a lot of minds. And kudos to Yosef for that. It's not every person that's going to volunteer their time. We did not get paid for that. That's not something we got paid money for. That was something 100% volunteer. You see what I mean? Yeah. And that was for many years, 8 years, really collectively 11 years of volunteer work, from scratch, doing the anthropology on the ground. You could say the first anthropology pretty much done about the black population in Denmark is done by our organization. It was called Afro-Dane. I'm sorry. Damn, I'm being confused. There's so many other organizations after ours, but Afro Empowerment Center. I'm sorry. Afro Empowerment Center is what is exactly, and I have to say it here in this article. You know what I'm saying? And you can see it right here. It says, here we go. There we go. Let me just outline this. So it tells you to the right, together with the vice president of Afro Empowerment Center. Yosef is to the right, and he's to the right of me, together with the vice president, myself, V. Bennett over here. You know what I'm saying? That's my real name in case people want to know. So like I always tell the trolls, like, you guys don't investigate much because my information is all out there in the public. And it's like anyone can find out anything about me. My address is out there. I'm not hiding. I'm not hiding at all. You know what I mean? And there's a time for everything. And so we had a lot of success with this. But listen, you know, look at the bullshit in my country now. My country is even worse, right?
Jeg hører brokke sig herhjemme.
At least you got this guy right here. He could tell you this is a Danish guy, and he's telling you all the people that make these complaints and blah, blah, blah. They're people that have never sat down and had a cup of coffee with the other person.
Kartofler, danskere, det er typisk folk, der ikke aldrig nogensinde har siddet og haft en konversation over en kop kaffe med en halabadut fra den anden side.
So you need to be willing to do that, to have that cup of coffee with them. You need to be willing to do your part. You know what I mean? And obviously this man has met some cool ass people that made an impression on him, and he's speaking as a Dane from his heart, you know? So you got to be willing to, he's not getting paid to say this. You got to be willing to do your advocacy from the heart, the idea to make things better for everybody. You know what I mean? You need to want collective good to go on. To move your agenda forward too at the same time. So having said that, we had a lot of success. Look, if you guys want to get some data, the data on our work, the work that we actually did for like 11 years, if you want to get most of the data on that, let me see here. Here it is. You can pick up this book if you want. It's written by myself. It's called Afro Dane, A Successful Story. Okay. You can get it here. You can get it in a lot of places. It's online. It's been online since 2009. All right. 2019. I'm sorry. Here we go. You can get it from anywhere. There's a lot of information in there. A lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of law. Yeah. UN law, EU law, Danish law. A lot of statistics data. I mean, our organization, we did the first statistics collection of the black population of Denmark. You know, we're the first ones to actually publish it, to tell you how many, right? And it's in this book. Just check it out. All you got to do is open it and read it. It's not a big deal. A lot of people write books about places and do anthropology and stuff, you know. But, you know, thanks to also a larger network we worked with that also mentor many, including myself, then the NPAD, the European Network for People of African Descent. You see what I'm saying? So, so a lot of people, we all in the network across Europe that do this kind of work, that know each other, and have made a lot of strides forward in Europe, you know. But the thing about it is that, you know, some things have happened and work continues, but there's a time for everything. Right now, Trump has become the full blown Nazi. So we got to deal with him. Trump has become the problem. Europe makes, you know, Trump makes Europe, the issues in Europe almost damn near disappear. That's how fucking bad Trump is. Because Trump let everybody know, I'll fucking attack everybody. I don't care. And and he does it because that's how ignorant his party is. This party meant every bit of what they said. They talked that bullshit about European culture, you know, like Europe is losing their culture. No, Europe is not losing their culture, and Europeans aren't losing their minds. Motherfucking America is losing their goddamn mind because they don't know where they got their motherfucking culture from. These motherfuckers are stupid. Americans are fucking stupid. Forgot your own goddamn history. Danes are in Denmark. Motherfucking the people in America, where they come from. They don't have, you know, Europeans don't have this psychological dilemma to have to always stick their chest out and always project so they can explain why they here. But Americans have to do that all the time. That's why you got MAGA. They got to explain. All this shit is just projection with MAGA, trying to explain why they exist. Yeah. Why you here? Why you here? Why you here, immigrant? You're an immigrant. Yeah, that's right. Do you know your roots? Do you know who you are? Do you even care? No, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They're speaking English. They're speaking English. Talking about the founding fathers and shit. No Dane is talking about a founding father in that way, man. That's a philosophical thing. But in the U.S., they're like, no, I really mean it. The founding fathers, 1700s. You know how old Denmark is and shit? Denmark's been around the block already several times by 1700 and shit. That shit. And this is what they act like. Look, Americans act like the B-side to a Franz Fanon book. Straight up. That's what they act like. The B-side to a Franz fucking Fanon book. Danes don't act like that. Danes act down to earth, man. Cool, just regular. How can I say this? Secure in their being. Secure in their being. Americans, man, they don't. They project, walking around talking about, you won't replace us. Damn, it's like that, baby. Wow. But in any case, that's enough about me. Yeah. That's enough about me. There's other people to talk about. And again, listen, the panel is open. Anybody want to hop up and, you know what I'm saying, have a conversation, and allow me to ask them some questions on the spot? I would love that. I also would like to get some people to put their pictures up on their YouTube pages and put some videos up about themselves also. That would be nice, so people can really know who you are, because these days you can't really trust people. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust that a troll ain't going to be a troll. Just anything, pretending, taking on somebody else's persona and shit. In any case, here we go. Before we get into bitch ass Elon Musk, the richest man on earth, the most dangerous man on earth too. Money makes you dangerous, and he's got a lot of it. Let's get into what Tucker Carlson has just been talking about. He came up with something very interesting. There's some claim about investigations into Trump's assassination attempt. Like, what's going on here? Let's go. Big up.
Trump shut down the investigation into Butler. That is a fact. Dan Bongino told me that when he worked at the FBI. That was the moment I realized, oh, wow, there's no good explanation for shutting down an investigation into your own attempted murder.
Okay.
Like, this is not what we've been told it was.
Wow.
Okay, now with the obvious caveat that Tucker Carlson has done more lying in his life than he's done literally anything else.
Facts. Tucker Carlson is a lying motherfucker. just to But hey, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? He used to listen. Tucker Carlson was a Trump seeker fan. He praised Trump. Trump was like God, just like he is for a lot of these MAGAs. And then he finally said, man, this guy is phony as hell. And there it is.
That is a big claim. And it's a claim with some specificity that Donald Trump would have shut down the investigation into Butler when he would have no reason to want to do that. And to say specifically that Dan Bongino said it to him, which allows Dan Bongino to come in and respond to that. He has to be somewhat confident in what he's saying, or he's taking the biggest conspiratorial swing of his life. So we're going to play a little bit more of this clip, which basically states that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are involved in the alleged cover-up. Take a look.
Dan Bongino himself was terrified when I spoke to him in December. It's such a long, boring story, but basically I came into possession, accidentally came into possession of a lot of the social media posts that we were told didn't exist, that were posted by Thomas Crooks in the months and years before the shooting. And I was amazed that the FBI had lied about this. So I called Kash Patel, and I later called Dan Bongino, and I says, what is this? I'm not attacking you.
Look, he called Kash Patel and Dan Bongino two other lying ass motherfuckers.
It was the previous FBI administration that did this. It was Chris Wray. But what is this? And Dan Bongino became hysterical with me on the phone. I've known Dan a long time, for many years, and always gotten along with him, whatever his fault.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Paul said, nice guy, nice, certainly very nice to me. I never had a problem with Dan ever. And that problem began when I brought this information to his attention, and he became a different person. He was clearly terrified. I didn't get it at first, but he was hysterical. And ultimately, after a long series of text exchanges, which I still have, and phone conversations, he said, look, take it up with Trump. He's the one who shut down the investigation.
Okay, so he's throwing a lot out there, and I would love for follow-up on some of it, like saying he has the social media post, but then not saying what's in the social media post is a little bit frustrating, but maybe at some point he plans on putting those out there. But he's making some very bold claims about Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino was terrified of what was going on. I buy that. I saw how hysterical he got when I pointed out that there had been mass buying of his...
Well, here's the thing. One thing that everybody knows. Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, they really, really did believe that the Epstein files were going to get released. That's what it appears like to me. I think they're patsies. I don't think they're part of the $1 million, the special group. Trump has those people too, right? Even though they get paid, they're allowed to grift and do all of that stuff. Let's be honest. They ain't their color, prohibits them from being part of the main squad. It means they're patsy by definition. I'm serious. They happy being patsies. They know that. They're happy to kiss Trump's ass, but they're being used, and it took them a minute to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the back story. You know what I mean? Kash Patel's figured it out now, so he's trying to figure out how is he going to get out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? But look, Bongino, he was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. He left because they was going to do him in. Look, he found out some shit because he's dumb. He let them use him, and he found out he's being used, and he's trying to live this up and pretend now that he's not there, that life goes on. I'm back to podcasting. Motherfucker, we ain't stupid. We ain't stupid. Your bitch ass thought that the Epstein files was going to release. You were on TV saying it 100 motherfucking times a day, and then when you got power, you reversed because you found out that you work for them. You work for Epstein, motherfucker. That's what you found out. Okay. And yeah. And so, now they're trying to figure their way out. Tucker Carlson figured it out halfway, the Russian thing, and then he's like, oh shit. So he was slow, but he figured it out. But then again, he was getting paid the entire time just to talk shit on TV. So he was going to say anything anyway, right? But now,
remember why he got knocked off of Fox News, V?
Who's that? Who's that?
It's me, Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Mike from Brooklyn. What's up? Go ahead. Tell me about that.
Remember why he got fired from? He got fired from Fox because of his misinformation, right? His disinformation.
Oh, Tucker.
And then and then his first major interview on his independent platform was interviewing Putin. So he knows very well what he's doing.
Oh,
right?
Wow!
He knows very, very well what he's doing. He was the first American newscaster to platform Putin, to interview him.
Okay.
He went to Russia to go interview him.
I didn't even see. I remember that. You're right. And I didn't even see the whole interview because I'm not trying to watch fucking propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Russian propaganda. It's like, come on. Once you know how Putin does things, he's very clever. So whatever he's saying, it's about manipulation. About manipulating people abroad, largely American citizens, and about, he has his disinformation network out there on fleet, all across social media. So all he's going to do is reinforce it. You know what I mean? Not say too much, not say too little, just enough to keep you buying it. You know what I mean? And
his half truths.
Yeah. And Tucker Carlson goes running to him. So it's about the money. He don't even believe Putin either, right? Or is it? It's
exactly.
Just, it's another grift.
It's about the money, right? It's about tapping into what his base wants to hear, even if it's propaganda, right? Like that's essentially what Tucker Carlson brings, right? Unfortunately, and his base eats it up, right? But I do think that it is a very good telling sign that he's been forced to see the writing on the wall and leave the MAGA movement. Mind you, he's one of the main people who championed it to get them in office, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if he's going against it, especially like him, all the grifters, right? Like when you see the grifters stop grifting,
Yeah.
that's when you see that. That's when you know something's up, right? When the
That too.
Candace Owens of the world, when
they
the
stop
Tucker
grifting, right?
Carlsons of the world,
When the Charlie
when they
Kirks.
stop grifting, there you go, right?
Look at Charlie Kirk, man. Something's
It's the
happening
truth.
wrong. They found out something, and we know what
There
it
you go.
is. And the common denominator is that Putin's obviously not on the Epstein tapes. So and somebody else is, right. And this is what they figured out. But I like one thing about Tucker. You know, he went to Putin knowing that Trump is likely being blackmailed by Putin.
Yeah, of course.
So he's going in that direction, right? And because he knows it fucks over it's fucking Trump's brain up. The fact that he went there, because he doesn't know what Putin told Tucker Carlson.
No, he doesn't.
Exactly.
No, he doesn't. You're right. He doesn't.
Exactly. Right? That's got to be. So I like that play. You know what I'm saying? I think that was very interesting. He probably, who knows if he told him much. I doubt it. But he probably told him something though. He probably told him enough, right? They got him like, okay, so enough. Who knows what it is? Enough to understand how this is going to go down.
Exactly.
Not exactly what's going to go down, but enough to know it's going to go down. And you might want to stay away from this area at this time.
Remember, Russia is propaganda central, right? So if he can sow that information with half truths himself through a person like a Tucker Carlson, if Trump knows, Trump more than knows that's the thing, you know?
Yeah, and I can't imagine. I mean, I could easily imagine what it is, because if he was hanging, if Sasha Riley, if anything, this is what they're saying. Everybody, peep this, because I saw something lately. I forgot to tell folks. In this interview with Sasha Riley, let me pull it up because everybody needs to see it for themselves, because some people don't come to my channel every day, right? So everybody doesn't know, right? Fair enough. But let me see here. Let me put this in here so everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about again. And then you can have it for yourself in these interviews, because, you know, these interviews are hours, bro. Nobody has, you don't have, I listened to a lot of it, but you don't have 8 hours, right? To 8-10 hours to just go through all of it, right? Again and again and again. But one thing I can tell you for sure is this. Here we go. This right here. Is this not up? Sasha Riley interviews, right? Let me throw this in the chat for people to see. You know what he says in one of these tapes, in one of these things? I forgot that he had said it. The speculation here. Let me write Sasha Riley. Did I? Oh, hold on. I didn't get the whole thing. 2 seconds. Maybe this is a better copy. He says in this tape, they discuss the fact that Putin likely has the tape of him with Trump. Yep, he says that in that tape. You got to listen to all that shit, though. Let me see here. Sasha Riley. Yeah. Assaulted by Trump. There we go. Just so people know. This is what he says, right? So, going back to this, Tucker Carlson, Sasha Riley, and they discussed this in this, the idea that Putin might have his tape, or likely has his tape, because he says the U.S. military has the tape, the U.S. government has the tape, and that Putin might also likely have the tape. And the tapes are from 84. They're earlier than the 90s. They're very early, between 84 and what? 84 and when was he 12? He was between 8 and 12. That's 4 years. 84 and 88. Yeah, he might have some tapes from 84 and 88. And this is the thing that people need to know. Sasha Riley, for folks that don't know, Sasha Riley's a man, right? And he was a little boy between the ages of 8 and 12. And he claims that Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking. His father was trafficking him to Jeffrey Epstein's people. And that Jeffrey Epstein was an arranger for Trump for these types of things. And that they had little boys there too. And Trump apparently likes it in the behind by little boys. That's what he's saying in these tapes. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. The guy's a veteran, and he says this, and he says that Putin has the tapes, likely. So if you want to know or have an idea of what Putin might have on Trump, it may not be just the little girls what people are thinking. You got to remember, think about this. JD Vance is talking about releasing more shit because they're like, there's people saying so many horrible things. It's better to just release the things that aren't that bad to get some normalcy back to it. No, one of the things that's being said is that he liked it in the backside by little boys, like straight up, and that he also has a fetish for killing things, people, animals, and that they have it on tape with the little boy stuff too. Yeah, that's what. So if you're wondering, in this Sasha Riley's tape, they say that Putin likely has those tapes because Putin's name was mentioned hundreds and hundreds of times at these events. That's what he says too in the tapes. And then think about it now, how JD Vance is talking about releasing stuff. You see what I mean? Yeah, I'm just saying, if you want to know what one idea is about what Putin might have, it's something bad like that. You see what I mean? Yeah, this is what's being said. Who knows, right? But yeah, to me it sounds very plausible. But listen to the tapes. Here's I'll put the link in the chat. You listen yourself now. You tell me. It's the shit sounds very. I mean, this guy sounds like he's telling one. I didn't hear one anything that just no inclination that this man was lying. I didn't pick up on it if it's there. He sounded like he was just telling his real story, and he provides so much information that if you're lying, you would never do that. He provided so much information about who he is, who his parents were, pictures, photographs, all types of shit. So, yeah, he's a veteran, by the way. So check it out. He names Clarence Thomas. He names Jim Jordan, the congressional member. Clarence Thomas is the Supreme Court justice currently. He names Andy Biggs, another congressional member. He names a few different people that say were there and also assaulted folks. Yeah. So in any case, let's get back to Tucker Carlson and his new theory here about the investigations. Let's see here.
New York Times bestseller.
Or shutting down the investigation into that so-called, a plot to kill Trump.
I can only imagine that if he was involved in a cover-up of an assassination, he'd be even more hysterical. But that said, we do have a little bit of a response from Dan Bongino, who tweeted, "More receipts incoming on my show today that the Nepo baby is lying again," talking about Tucker Carlson. "He's like Teddy Ruxpin. You put a coin in his back and he tells you a story." And I feel the need to point out that that is not how Teddy Ruxpin works. That he just has a cassette recorder. You don't put coins in it. What the hell are you talking about? But anyway, he's implying that Tucker Carlson is lying. And to try to lend some credence to that, Dan Bongino released a little bit of the actual supposed text chain. Now, bear in mind, there could be other texts. And Tucker Carlson also said that there are calls too, which we're never going to have access to. But Tucker Carlson had said, "What are the facts? I still don't even know. He acted completely alone, no help from anyone. That's the claim. It's hard to believe, but the FBI could do a lot to prove it. They won't. Why? I sincerely don't understand. I asked Cash and Rick on background to explain, but they refused. I'm totally confused, but clearly this is not good. And by the way, in point of fact, Trump does not believe the official story at all. He's told that to my face." Again, we have to, I guess, trust him. But if Donald Trump doesn't believe the official story and then also shut down the investigation, that seems like the most fascinating story of the last couple of years that isn't being discussed at all, I guess. And so Dan Bongino did respond, and he was sort of dismissing the entire thing. And you can see it. We'll put up the tweet, the chat or whatever. This is basically him implying that he had not hinted that to Tucker Carlson. But again, we don't have all the communication, so I don't know. Now, look, obviously Tucker Carlson is and has been working towards, I guess, the idea that Israel tried to assassinate or just tried to scare Donald Trump to get him to back off of his, claims in the election that he would, not do war or whatever. And then obviously after this, Donald Trump enthusiastically pursues war. I think you could just chalk that up to Donald Trump is a massive liar rather than necessarily that Israel tried to snuff him out. But it is strange how little we've heard about this. Donald Trump is obsessive about stuff having to do with him. And Donald Trump doesn't talk about this. Donald Trump doesn't seem interested in the investigation. Whether or not it turns out that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel let Donald Trump shut down the investigation, there's a lot of suspicious stuff out there, Brett. What do you think?
The most disturbing thing about this is all the people in charge of the narrative.
Yeah.
It is Donald Trump, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
None of them have your best interests at heart. Tucker Carlson what if I told you there was a guy who used to be the center of attention? He used to have a great job, an amazing job, in the middle of everything. And suddenly he found himself without a job. And he retreated to his cabin in West Virginia or where the hell he lives. And now he's just kind of on the outside trying to find out where his coalition lies. And so he brings people into his house and he has conversations and discussions. This is a guy who he would have you believe that he's both the smartest and the dumbest person in the universe. No, I don't understand. I'm on your side with this. And I assume you're on the side of the truth and the side of nobility and the side of smart and prudence. But
that's one thing. Now on to the next thing. Because the moral of the story is you're not going to know how real that is anyway. But the grapevine is saying Dan Bongino says that Trump ordered the FBI to shut down the investigation into the assassination attempt. So they're one of them, at least. So there you have it. Who knows what's up with this? I'm inclined to believe it. I'm inclined to believe it because, look, despite Dan Bongino, Tucker Carlson, and Kash Patel all being liars, right? Trump is a bigger liar. You see what I mean? He's a bigger liar. And it's hard to be a bigger liar than Dan Bongino, Kash Patel. And fucking Tucker Carlson, you got to work at being a bigger liar than them. But Trump does work at it. Trump is at work at it right now and shit. He can barely move. He's working harder. Trump is going to have a computer hooked up to his brain that's going to be like, make up another lie for me today. When it far past when his brain can't even think anymore, you're going to be like, make up another lie. Oh, God. Any case, but there's more bad news. Let me see here. Let's get to something more pressing. And that is the election.
This is Democracy Watch.
So everybody get out there, register to vote. If you haven't registered to vote, you can go to vote.gov. Right. And register. It doesn't matter what state you live in. You just go to vote.gov. Boom. And all you got to do is click the felt where your name, the name of your state is, and it will do the rest for you. Right. You can re-register also, or you can adjust your registration, like change your address. If your address has been updated, all that's taken care of vote.gov. Right. And if you need more information, call your county clerk, register of voters, or board of elections, and make sure you are registered to vote or registered in your state with the correct address. So, no matter what, take the time to do that because, the most surest way out of this is if so many people vote Democrat, right? First, I'm not saying don't bitch about them. Complain about the Democrats. Turn up the heat, turn up the pressure, but don't be stupid. Get rid of Trump because his regime is utterly corrupt. And right now, the independents haven't built a big enough base, so they don't have a big enough base, a big enough coalition. And so we need to get Trump out of this bad boy. So you gotta move strategically, right? And I'm not saying believe in the Democrats. I'm saying, one thing for sure, they will seek retribution. So if retribution is what you're looking for, first and foremost, they will seek retribution. And because Trump has attacked a lot of Dems, and then on top of it, people should demand that whoever is in charge next, get this regime out. People should demand it. There's so many things that got to be done that Trump has fucked up. He has turned the country back 100 years, basically. What is lost is 100 years of work, because think about this. It might take you 100 years to build up a certain capacity, but it doesn't take you 100 years to lose it. People have turned their backs on the U.S. People are like Trump did something so bad. Folks won't have confidence in the United States so easily ever again. Yep. Yeah. You wanted to say something?
No, I mean, our Americans as a whole have had democracy itself threatened, right? When we have seen people who have tried to insurrect our country be pardoned and then be placed in position and even tried to be paid for being loyalist, to push a propagandic rhetoric, right? Like they've destroyed our democracy to a point that it'll take generations, to rebuild that trust in our government, right?
Yeah.
And it's a level not seen since, even worse than Reagan, right? When it comes to global relations, when it comes to not just our personal infrastructure, right? Where we see what's going on with even the Supreme Court, right? Because even during, the Reagan era and even during the Nixon era, we still had things like the civil rights movement that was backed by our Supreme Court. And now we're seeing these things be rolled back in the form of being patriotic or ultra nationalist and under the banner of Make America Great Again, right? And so it's just unfortunate that, even going forward, no matter how progressive any Democrat is, they still have their works cut out for them, and I think the only positive thing to come of this is that after Donald Trump, the Republican Party is going to have to rebrand on a different level. They're going to be destroyed after this strong man leaves office.
They're treasonous. They supported treason, man. They support that. That's the party of treason, and it's not a surprise because they're made up of basically with the remnants of the Dixies and whatever other weirdos wanted to be stupid enough to want to join that that country. The Dixies, you know what I'm saying? The Confederates, they're all in the Republican Party. They switched and they controlled it, and they let this stupid shit. Listen, folks should do their history. Do your history. The globe is not large. It's small. It's smaller than it's ever been, but it was small in World War II. It was small, Yeah, exactly. And maybe we didn't have the same ability back then as we do now, but motherfuckers moved millions of people around in a war, you know what I'm saying, on a global stage. So the world can't be that small if they could do it that fast. That's relatively fast for the equipment and the technology that they had right now. And it involved a lot of people, a lot of different people. There were not, and I don't want to talk about this. I am a quote unquote what's called a minority in Denmark. And I don't want to harp on that because that's not what my life is all about, right? The fact that I'm a minority in some way, the way I look, maybe in that way I'm a minority, but I'm also an American citizen. There's 350 million of us on the globe in the United States and outside. So, I'm not a minority in all ways, shapes, and forms. You see what I mean? It depends. I'm a man too. So does that make me we're a minority, but that's also a big group population of men out there. So there's a lot of different aspects to what a person is. But in any case, for me, it's like I don't like to harp necessarily on being black or being a minority because, but in knowing this, like World War II, for example, there were a lot of African soldiers from different places in Africa, fighting with, on the side of France or in different countries. There were African Americans that fought with the United States military. In fact, the Tuskegee Airmen have the best record of fighter pilots in the war. You know what I'm saying? For the U.S. You see what I'm saying? So these kind of things are parts of history that, we need to not throw away because you will lose reality trying to throw them away. You will be dumb and think that you barely got through motherfucking World War II. I mean, do you understand the reason why they allowed black soldiers in World War II, like outside of just logistics and groundwork, moving materials? The reason why they let them fight is because if they didn't, they could lose. Simple. If they didn't, they could lose. The U.S. was not, I mean, the Nazi party was serious. You know, they weren't joking around. You saw Normandy. That wasn't a joke. Normandy wasn't a joke. You know, a lot of people died. And if we went there, most of us would be dead too. Most of us. You see what I mean? A lot of fucking soldiers died trying to go up against the Nazis. Well, a lot of African Americans, you know, were a part of that too. Different regiments on the ground. There's plenty of histories. Vietnam, different wars around the world, you know, so we have to preserve the history just so we don't teach our kids to go stupid, you know, and go backwards. You know what I mean?
Especially for World War II, right? That allowed for a lot of black individuals to now come home, have the option for the GI Bill that was created, right, for them to own homes. Yeah. That later on led to civil rights, right? Civil rights movements. 20 years later, right? That also led to black home ownership. That led to the Great Migration from the South. A lot of people who served were black individuals from the South. They later on moved back up north to states like New York, right? That led to the Harlem Renaissance. So history rhymes. History does have its place, and it gives context to something that is a lot more nuanced than what people like to assume. And
you know something else? You know, it's one of those nuances, right? Think about a lot of the black soldiers that were in Europe at that time, right? And people interacted with them. Local people interacted with them. Average Europeans interacted with them, saw them, got to hear the music, got to hear the kind of music that
you want to know what's funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's funny is that's how, when people ask, why do African Americans like cognac, it's because of the World War II soldiers who were in France and consumed cognac there, and later on brought that habit back here to the U.S. and States.
Exactly.
So even something as simple as that matters, right?
The history has been documented, and it's been going on for some time, for longer than that, even before World War II. But World War II is a good time to look back on because it's not that long ago, right? And and so there's a lot there also. So, you know, having said all of that, United States is trying to go backwards. You know, we're running away from our own history, you know, and it is damaging to do that. It's going to hurt the country because, in fact, African Americans have done a lot for the United States of America. As far as one ethnic group, they have done a lot. Our history is traced back to the beginning of the country, our sacrifices. We're in every aspect of the country. Our African American women solved the math, the physics code, the math to actually get to actually get us to the moon, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Isn't that right? Exactly.
Yeah.
The math, exactly how they would do
so the rocket science, physics behind
chart the physics behind it, to chart their path. I mean, what else? The technology of the internet, African American engineer, right? We've contributed to every aspect of American life, right? So, you know, it's not something insignificant to go back on. It's actually one key major element in the country that they're trying to go back against. So that's going to have devastating effects. That's going to have devastating effects. And then Trump does the same thing with NATO. That's going to have devastating effects on the United States of America. He does the same thing with Canada. Devastating effects. These people are not going to trust us just overnight. No, that's not what's going to happen. That's not what's going to happen. And so, sadly enough, we're going to have to earn our place through deeds. We're going to have to become a new United States of America if we're going to survive. We're actually going to have to become a new one. We can't go back to the old one, which was, you know, sure, we had Democrats, we had good people like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. They're good people, you know what I mean? But the thing is that the trajectory. You know, we weren't on the right trajectory either. You know, we have to be better than that. We have to be more progressive than that. You know, otherwise our country's not going to survive. You know, yeah. So these kind of things that Trump is doing to stop the election, and it's just all of this shit. You know, all of it. Cash Patel, everything, the ICE, all of this shit is like their last throws. You know, Elon Musk, they see this as if they don't do this now, it's over. So they're going to try every little single thing, you know, to try to not be thrown in jail. But they're going to be going to jail. There's going to be a lot of consequences for American citizens too. You will be paying off the debt for generations. That debt is this debt, because it's more debt than has ever been built up before. Before it was a year's worth of debt. Well, our GDP was what our debt was. 1 year of earnings, 1 year of finances. You know, that GDP was our debt. Now it's double. Now it's 2 years. You see, and when the country is not able to make money, we're not going to be able to pay that debt off so fast. So we fucked up a lot. Yeah.
Every Republican president has undoubtedly gotten us into debt, right? Yeah. Wars and debt. Wars and spending cuts that have allowed for a Democratic president to have to now pick up those pieces and be seen as the bad person for trying to reform from tax cuts and wars, right? It happened with Bush and Obama. It happened with Bush Sr. and Bill, right? So it's been seen time and time again that Republicans spend the most, but also cause harm to our economy through something as simple as tax cuts, right? Tax cuts for the richest, right? Yep. Because how do we think our GDP becomes a thing, right? It's collected through taxes.
Yeah.
Through taxes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, facts.
So it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Exactly. We're headed towards a slowdown. And I think, you know, they've been manipulating the market, the U.S. market. The U.S. market is big, so it's easier to manipulate it than other markets to get an effect out of it, right? Because of its mass, you know. But sooner or later, we won't be able to do that. And then our real value will be shown then, you know, and it's going to be an eye opener. Now, I asked everybody, let me know, everybody that's in the chat, because the chat is open right now. So I want everybody to let me know where you are living, what state you're living in, right? And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people may not know each other, and it helps qualify their statements that they make in the chat too, you know, because then I could go through it and be like, oh, you made this comment and you come from this motherfucking state. Anyway, so you know what I'm saying? It helps other people in the chat be able to do that too. It gives context. Yeah, it helps other people be like, you shouldn't be bragging at all. Who's your healthcare provider? What state do you live in, and who's your healthcare provider? That usually shuts up a lot of people. In any case, so having said all that, they're trying to stop the election, and this is bad. So register to vote. Register to vote. Register to vote. Vote.gov. vote.gov. Okay. Register to vote. And get that out of the way and get rid of these people. And we need to vote in numbers never seen before to have an effect on the corruption. They're going to try to limit voting. So, but if you get enough people out there, they won't be able to stop the change. So anybody that you see on the train, are you registered to vote? Are you registered to vote? Time to vote. Can't wait. Have a party outside. Have a fuck Trump party. Have a fuck JD Vance party. You see what I'm saying? A fuck JD Vance party starts with registering people to vote. A fuck Trump party starts with registering people to vote. People that you don't know, strangers. Say hello to a stranger. Say hello to, in the daytime, of course. in the daytime. I'm not saying go out there in the middle of the night and shit and go up to a stranger. But in the daytime, on your way somewhere, you know what I mean? Say hello to a stranger and ask them, are you registered to vote? Vote.gov. Let's get this motherfucker out of here. Like, That's got to be the coolest thing. We have to make voting the coolest thing to do right now. And it should be, because it's your vengeance. It's your retribution. You know, registering to vote is your retribution. That's the first step to retribution. Second step is after you have enough people registered, then they all vote this motherfucker out of power. Pick a clear victor. Don't split up now. Don't be broken up between somebody who can't win versus someone who can and actually has been attacked by this motherfucker. Okay, make sure, get somebody that's been attacked. Maybe not. I'll leave the election time, but be organized. Understand your vengeance comes with voting him out. If you don't get him out of power, you can't get your vengeance. Remember what Trump asked for? Retribution. If you don't get him out of power, if you don't get this party out of power, there will be no retribution. Don't you want retribution? Don't you want blood on your spear? Yeah. Aren't you like a mad dog? Don't you want to eat this motherfucker's bones? Get angry. Get angry. I do. What the fuck? He's putting people's lives in misery, man. Go eat that. Go chew his ass up, man. Get angry, man. Don't walk around like this. Make sure everybody understands what retribution is. Registering to vote. All right. So, but look, he's trying to fuck that up. So register as many people as you possibly can. So let's hear what the new news on the voting is.
The fallout from the Supreme Court's Calais decision continues, this time with an unprecedented step that's going to help Republicans. Can you explain what just happened as the result of the Supreme Court's decision?
Yeah, Democracy Docket broke this news that Republicans are now using that Calais decision, not just to defend gerrymanders, but now to try to unravel voting rights in the United States. They have cited the Calais decision in the critical voter suppression lawsuit that has been going on in the state of Georgia over mail-in ballots, specifically a provision that requires the voter to put their birth date on the outer envelope when they return their mail-in ballot. Now, you might ask yourself, why on earth do you have to put your birth date on the outer envelope?
New Zealand.
I have no idea. You have no.
New Zealand in the house. Oklahoma is in the house. Damn, Nevada is in the house. Las Vegas is in the house. Arizona is in the house. Utah is in the house. Washington is in the house. I got you. I appreciate that. All right. Everybody knows each other now. Big up.
I don't think the state of Georgia has any idea. As a result, it violates what is referred to as the materiality provision. This is a provision in the civil rights law that, among other things, bans literacy tests, bans guessing the number of jelly beans in a jar, right? It prohibits these immaterial requirements from preventing people from being able to vote or having their votes counted. Well, Republicans, citing Calais, are now asking the conservative courts to say that those provisions that ban these immaterial requirements are unconstitutional unless we are able to prove racial discrimination. So unless we're able to show that these birth date requirements or other things are intentionally discriminatory, in other words, they were intended to harm black voters, they are saying that they have to stay on the books. This is a 5-alarm fire, not just for mail-in voting in Georgia, but for all of the breadth of these kinds of frivolous requirements that Republicans.
So Republicans, they want to keep power because they know they've committed treason against the voters and against the citizens, the taxpayers. What they've done is they've taken all the taxpayers' money and they've given it to the billionaires. And then they've given it to the billionaires, and then they've even helped other people. They helped Israel with billions and billions of dollars to try to kill. Well, they killed the leader of Iran. Number one, that can't be understated. Like, you just killed the leader of a sovereign nation. You assassinated a leader of a sovereign nation. That makes you fucked. That makes you fucked. And understand this. You can't do these kind of things and think that people are going to stand on your side. The Western world turned their backs. They turned their backs on this. You see what I mean? So this is killing Israel, and Donald Trump are getting a lesson in corruption. They're getting a lesson in what it's like when ethical, moral leaders turn their back on unethical, corrupt ones. You know, so they thought that the story was going to be that everyone would just keep going along with this shit. That's what Israel thought. They thought it's good. It's always been like this. They will still support us no matter what. Ha ha ha. We'll always have them on their side. Ha ha ha. They just got used to it. Netanyahu got used to it. Trump got used to it. Guess what happened? Nah, motherfucker, it's over. Netanyahu supported Trump, who literally threatened to take Greenland. Netanyahu supported Trump, who literally threatened to take Canada. Netanyahu supported Trump in taking and capturing Maduro. Listen, disagree with Maduro all you want. I don't even agree with that party. I don't agree with that party wholeheartedly. But one thing I do understand is that they're still a party. They're still Venezuelans. They're still real people. If you try to make them starve, you're starving everybody. What's the good in that? Let's be progressive about this. Let's mend some of the ties. Let's mend some of the broken ties. I mean, let's make the relations so positive with Venezuelans that everyone can, be a part of, freedom and without making enemies out of either side. Bring them together. You know what I mean? And instead, we wanted to polarize it. Trump went and took Maduro out. He left the regime in charge, and then he didn't even support the party that got more votes. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? Netanyahu supported that? You see, so Cuba, Netanyahu supports Trump strangling Cuba to death. You see what I mean? So people are tired of this. You got to understand. United States have to understand. The rest of the world does not agree with what you have been doing with Trump. And they see that that your Congress and your Senate and your Supreme Court is willing to do everything to make sure that it continues instead of stop. They're watching. So they know who you are. They know who you are. They know you will try to do the same unfair shit to them. They know you can't be trusted. They know you lie. They know you rig the game. They know you turn your backs on Ukrainians. They know you turn your backs on fucking Palestinians. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, and the reason they do know this is because they don't want to be told what they can't do when they do it, right? Russia doesn't want to be told what they can and cannot do when they finally take over Ukraine, right? Or when they have more drastic measures taken towards Ukraine, right? They don't want to be told anything when they take over, when Israel continues with Iran, no matter whatever peace deal we have in place, right? Because they're going to point at the U.S. and say, "Hey, look what you did in Venezuela. Hey, look what you're trying to do in Cuba. Hey, look what you're continuing in Iran, right? By supporting it." Putin is going to do the same thing, right? Like he's going to do the same thing with Ukraine and try to make a greater Russia, right? Same thing with China.
The dictator club. Yeah, the dictator club. They don't listen to their populations. They don't want to be told anything.
Exactly.
Nobody can tell them nothing.
Right.
So they're going to go off on their little game and get all these people killed. Putin, to be honest, Putin is one of the reasons why Iran, is getting killed. They have this whole thing where they like to start up wars and shit like this, and it's like, look, everyone knows. You just have to understand this. When you're looking at this dynamic, nobody gives a fuck about Iran. They're in it. They're trying to survive. China doesn't give a fuck about Iran. Russia doesn't give a fuck about Iran. Trump doesn't give a fuck about Iran. Israel doesn't give a fuck about Iran. It's all a game, and one side is pretending. Of course, they pretend like they care. No, they don't care. The one thing they care about it's not Iranians. If China cares about Iran, it's not the Iranian people. If Russia cares about Iran, it's not the Iranian people. It's just who's going to be in charge. That's all they give a fuck about.
There you go. Yep.
All they give a fuck about is that. Who's going to be in charge? Anything else that regime does to any of the people, Russia doesn't give a fuck. Happy Pride Month. Yeah. And Russia doesn't give a fuck. And China doesn't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
They don't.
They just want to make sure nobody else controls Iran. That's what this is about. So they're going to give Iran. This is how the game is. It's Machiavellian. You give a country, even Israel. See, what's crazy about this is Trump turned a Machiavellian thing where the United States was in control to the opposite. now it's Israel running Machiavellian shit on the U.S. How the fuck does that happen? What the fuck? Since when we've given them so many weapons, right? Obviously, we're giving them so many weapons for a reason, right? Just the same reason as we give a lot of people weapons. Why do we give people weapons, right? It's because we want a certain kind of leadership in that area, right? It's the same reason we give them weapons for the same reason Russia and China give the opponents weapons. It's not personal. The United States, we don't give them really Israel weapons because we think they're good. We don't give Saudi Arabia weapons because we think they're good. What the fuck? That's a problem. That's a problem. We've been supporting some dictators, and now that's just opened the door to all of these. A dictator free for all, dictator smorgasbord. That's what this is. 2026.
That's exactly where I was talking about. The right wing popularism that has taken over the world. Right. We can even look at the more recent elections that are happening in Colombia, where, again, to be far right is to be popular, current in the current zeitgeist. Because of people like Trump, right? Yeah. They have made it the popular thing to be, and it's reverberating throughout the world, right? Right? So aside from that, again, you give more power and more claims to the Putins of the world, to the Xi Jinpings of the world, because how can you call them out for anything they do on a dictator or authoritarian level if your country is doing the same? You can't. It'd be hypocritical, right? And so that's why they're loving this. They're sitting back and just watching it. They're promoting it. It's the reason why Russia interfered with our last election, right? Because they know that if they can back a person like a Trump, that they have more legitimate claims to continue to make greater Russia and greater China. Ideally, what they want is Russia wants to be left alone to take over, Europe. To create, the new USSR. Yes, to take over Europe. Yeah. And create the new USSR. China wants to be greater China again, Asia, where they take over China. Taiwan, greater Asia. Yep. They want to be, and the U.S. They want to divide it into reset back into the three main superpowers. The same thing that caused, or
Brazil,
look, to World War II.
You know what the crazy part is? Is all those mountains, bro. Central America, mountains. South America, mountains. Man,
and jungle.
Listen, we ain't going to take them over militarily. It's other people Russia and China. They planning this shit.
We
won't be going to Central and South America. We won't be.
But we don't have to as long as we have the Bukeles of the world, as long as we have the Javier Mileis of the world, right? Dictators that support Trump, that have his ideology, that partner with him, right? We don't need to take over. Why? When we essentially are controlling their government. Right. Yeah, we support them. We want that. Because tomorrow if we say we want to do something, they're not going to bat an eye and say no, because they support our current government and our current leader.
Yeah, there we go. We're helping them colonize,
Yeah, we'll let you borrow money.
It's the subordinate colonizer.
Yeah,
basically, it's crazy. It's fucking weird, man. It's so sad. It's so petty, man. It's so petty. But having said that, if you want to change anything in your life, you might not be able to change the world, but in the United States, you can change yourself from getting fucked over. And so pay attention here. They're going to try something in this election. It's going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is expected to rule in favor of the Republicans, and that means that they can make so many arbitrary different things to prohibit you from voting now. Remember back in the civil rights era, they used to have a law where they said if you can't read this whole thing, then you can't vote, right? Or they had a lot of different ways to weed you out from your right to vote. They could
Voter
say, "Oh,
suppression, yep.
you don't have their." Yeah, exactly. People say today, you're supposed to have an ID. Well, people came with IDs and were still told not to vote. So there was always something with that, right? So now they're planning on bringing it back. So they don't want rules, standard rules. They want the rules to change this year, right now, while elections are already going on. And they're doing that.
They've already discussed it. They've already discussed it through mail-in ballot. That's the next thing that they're attacking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
what they're trying to do is they're trying to do is they're forcing each state to give up their voter registrations and their voter information, and if they don't comply, then they will be banned from mail-in ballots.
Right.
And what they're trying to do is pretty much gauge and control which states, which counties, which cities are going to vote historically more Democratic, so they can control what that looks like, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they want to do. And what it is that, so the same regime that took away people's health care, right, made it more expensive also, the same regime that's talking about taking away your Social Security, the same regime that's brought up the debt even more instead of paying off the debt, right? The same regime that basically wants to give Israel your taxpayer dollars without them having really any congressional authority, right? They won't even have to ask. That's HR 8800. That's the new bill that's going to the floor of Congress this month to vote on. I mean, this is the regime. And now they're going out here and they want to stop you from voting because they think American people can be divided by color, religion, and these things, and that they won't vote in their best interest. That's what they're hoping. They're hoping that the American people don't care, don't believe Social Security is a right, don't believe health care is a right. They're hoping the American people don't believe that don't believe that you can decide yourself who you give money to, what governments and what countries you support with your taxpayer dollars. That they're hoping that Americans feel like they don't have choices, that their voice doesn't matter in the democracy. They're hoping that they do that. They're hoping that American people will just let them do this and won't really respond in strong numbers. That's what they're looking for, and we're gonna find out. We're going to find out how what the American people are going to do about this. But what I say is, by any means necessary, do whatever the fuck you want, Trump. I'm telling people that hate you, by all means necessary, any means necessary. Period. If we have to flat your fucking tire, okay, after the discotheque, okay. If we have to shit in your goldfish's bowl, okay, we're gonna do it. Okay, motherfucker, like seriously, we're gonna be petty about this shit, okay?
Legislatures will put back in place if they can get away with it. And this is just the beginning of the fallout that we're seeing from Calais.
Mark, are these immaterial provisions that serve as barriers for people voting, is that only prohibited due to the Voting Rights Act? There's no other provision anywhere in the Constitution or in statute that prevents states from erecting barriers to voting other than the Voting Rights Act?
So it's actually in the Civil Rights Act. It's actually in a law that's a bit older than the Voting Rights Act. And the Civil Rights Act, these provisions don't just prevent racial discrimination in voting, they prohibit all immaterial requirements. The idea it was that it's not just black voters who shouldn't have to, be subject to these immaterial provisions, but no voters should.
Right.
But what Republicans are saying is that because of Calais, that this entire regime of laws that prohibit immaterial provisions, it needs to fall, because if it does not involve intentional racial discrimination, then the Constitution doesn't allow Congress to pass these laws in the first place. This is an unprecedented view of the Constitution and is being urged by the Republican Party. It is being advanced first in Georgia, but we're going to see this around the country. And this is the kind of fallout we see from the Calais decision. Now, I don't want to embarrass you, but you have done something to help allow me and my team to fight this case in Georgia and around the country. We are in this case in Georgia, and we are only able to be there because of the funding that is underlying our plaintiffs in these cases through something called the Free Election Fund. And you have made a generous offer as a result of you publishing a new book that will help fund this litigation. So in addition to people reading and learning and being able to get more
so just to pause that for a second, there's it's a lot of basically what they're doing is illegal anyway, and the only reason why it's even being talked about is because you have a corrupt Supreme Court. That's really what it comes down to. The United States has a corrupt Supreme Court, and that should be no surprise, because that's why things are so backwards in the United States and so strong corporate wise, strong on corporate rights, but basically not there at all on civil rights or just lifestyle, the freedom in general, democracy. The Supreme Court is not with democracy in the United States of America. It's not with democracy. It's not with civil rights. It's not with human rights. It's not with education. It's not with health, public health. It's not with anything that has anything to do with society. It's purely corporate. So, but in any case, the United States and most constitutional democracies, it is absolutely not legal for the government to target, penalize, or discriminate against citizens or government employees based on their political party or beliefs. That is illegal. Okay? When the government uses its power to punish someone for political views, it violates fundamental constitutional rights. Here is how the law protects individuals from political discrimination by the government. So, when the Supreme Court makes rulings that disproportionately affect or one party or are for the outcome for another party to disproportionately benefit, that's discrimination. That's illegal. They're not supposed to do that. You see what I mean? So obviously this is Republicans. It's so obvious. I mean, Republicans are the ones bringing the suits to the Supreme Court saying they want to change election standards on an election year. I mean, come on. It's so obvious. There could be nothing else that they're trying to do but alter the outcome of the elections. That's what they're trying to do. And so it's for the Supreme Court to not see it just for what it plainly is the government targeting a specific political party. That's what they're doing. So you see, because the Supreme Court, they are government workers. They're just like everybody else. They're not supposed to use, just because they're one branch doesn't mean they're supposed to use it against any specific political party. It's supposed to be unbiased, right? So they're supposed to know this. The First Amendment, Freedom of Speech Association. First Amendment strictly prohibits the government from engaging in what the court calls viewpoint discrimination. So the Supreme Court knows that the party that is trying to stop the election is the party that is in power. They're trying to change the election rules. So that's why I say it's so obvious. The party in power is actually trying to change the election rules in the year of an election, right? So, and then the party is heavily corporate and really basically, outside of that, very anti-civil rights, right? Versus the Democrats, very liberal and more social, right? So there's two components there that you could see the politics splitting, and where the Supreme Court sides on, right? So check this out. The government cannot deny you public services, benefits, licenses, or police protection because you belong to a specific party, and they can't do that in the Supreme Court. They can't rule against you or for you just because you're a specific political party. And that's literally what they're doing right now. Right. All you got to do is look at the outcome of most of the cases that go before them that are of a political nature, and you will easily see that they side with their political party. It's it's illegal what they're doing. And again, the next party that gets power, if you don't remove these people that did this, what does it say about you? You're insane. You won't have the faith of anyone in the country. They have destroyed the faith of the American people. Government employees. Under landmark Supreme Court rulings such as Elrod, Burns, and Branty and Finkel, the government cannot fire. Okay, so we know that. Now, let me see. Equal protection under the 14th Amendment. You are supposed to be given equal protection under the 14th Amendment. So why isn't the Supreme Court saying, wait a second, those voters are supposed to have that in the community? So the fact that you want to change their district right now, that's okay that you want to change it, but they are the people you're changing it on, and their word counts too. The Supreme Court didn't say that. The Supreme Court said, fuck their word. That's what the Supreme Court says. So what happens to the equal protection under the 14th Amendment? Federal, okay, important distinctions. In any case, I just wanted to say that. So let's go back to this now and listen to this.
Educated about what is happening. Look, that will help fund this litigation. So in addition to people reading and learning and being able to get more educated about what is happening, and in addition to be able to support your work as an author, they are also, by purchasing this book, going to be supporting the litigation efforts to fight against exactly these kinds of legal challenges.
Now, I appreciate you bringing that up, and we've decided with this book not just to talk the talk, literally and figuratively, but also walk the walk, and so decided to donate proceeds from this book in my personal capacity with the help of my editor, so he's matching my donation, and then HarperCollins, my publisher, is matching that donation, so all three of us are going to pitch in and donate proceeds from every single book sold to the Free Election Fund to help litigation like this that look, we need and all of us truly believe in. So the thanks goes to you for engaging in this litigation and for stepping up, which is in large part, I think, what the book talks about. It talks about how Democrats have to fight back, and so I thought it was only wise here, only responsible to make sure to give a little bit back to the group right now who is doing the exact thing that I would like to see everybody do as we move forward in this process. So,
and that will obviously go up to.
Here we go. Sorry about that. Let me get on with this.
And then we won in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals under a constitutional theory that is related to, not exactly the materiality theory, but a similar theory. And the Republicans are trying to get the U.S. Supreme Court to take that case. They're trying to get this reversed in the Supreme Court. So that is one case to watch that has already had success. And we will see if the Supreme Court takes that case. In the meantime, we now have in Georgia, and that will obviously go up to the 11th Circuit, this claim. What we are witnessing at a broader level is an effort by Republicans to not only gut the legal protections for voters, not just gut the Voting Rights Act, gut the Civil Rights Act, but simultaneously with that, they want to put new traps in the law to find new ways to disqualify the ballots of the people they don't want to vote. If you boil down what the Republicans are trying to do, what Donald Trump is trying to do with the U.S. Postal Service, with the collection of the voter files from all of these states, something you and I have followed very, very carefully, in which me and my law firm is litigating, again, only able to bring these cases because of the support of the Free Election Fund. So I hope everyone buys your book and provides a way to help indirectly. So I hope everyone buys your book because it's a direct way to help support that litigation. But what we're seeing in that is Donald Trump trying to create a series of hoops that voters have to go through. And if they don't go through, they're just not on his list of who gets to vote. So it's just a massive disenfranchisement effort. By creating these artificial rules, Donald Trump then becomes the arbiter of which rule leads to being on his list and which one being off his list. And that is ultimately the threat to democracy that I worry most about.
Mark, what I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding is the Calais decision was basically a gutting of the Voting Rights Act, but this provision that we're discussing here, where again, they're trying to say that any barriers that have been erected, that you have to prove that there's racial animus involved. Okay, but that's a different statute. That's the Civil Rights Act. And so how can they claim that the Voting Rights Act is akin to the Civil Rights Act when they're two completely different pieces? Exactly,
and because they're not the same. They're not akin to each other. They're both They're both rights, but outside of being a right, okay, every right is a civil right. So what is up with that, you know? But in any case, it's crazy. One is all voters and the other is black voters. So now they're saying they're trying to pick away at the rights of all voters now. So you just went and you just redistricted black voters in an election year during an actual election. And now you want to go fuck with the other voters. And I said this before. We've said it a million times. They always going to start off with the black person or the minority. And then if you sit back and watch it, then he's going to be at your doorstep like, excuse me, hello, are you home too? Like, yeah, sorry. You know, really, that's what because they're going to need more money. You know, and how they going to get money from you? By ticketing you, by taking more people's rights, more, violations, more oppression. Right. How they going to keep you in check when you're unhappy? More people going to be unhappy. So they're going to make a new scam about who the new terrorists are. Who is today it's Antifa. Tomorrow it's going to be MAGA.
Yep.
And you will be losing your home to these bank, if you default on that loan right now, MAGA or not. Okay. Who's going to be losing their job this year? Who's going to be replaced by a robot? And who's going to lose their job this year? Tell me. Raise your hand. I mean, because it's going to be truck drivers. It's going to be people in food, these fast food chains. It's going to be, what else is it going to be? Huh?
Farmers.
Who? Go ahead.
You have farmers. You have farmers.
Yeah. Who else?
Your average software engineer, right? Anyone in tech, right? Especially with AI being unregulated, right?
And you know why? You know why you're going to lose it? Because you're in the United States where they don't give a fuck about you. They could easily make a law. China made a law saying AI can't replace somebody's job. They haven't done that in the U.S. They're doing it.
China.
They're doing it everywhere else because security depends on it.
The same authoritarian rule, right? China, the same place we call the red communist country, is ensuring that its workers do not get replaced or forced out economically to AI.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Exactly. Not the U.S. though, but everybody else is doing the same thing. They're like, no. You can't do that. Actually, industry's not going to be allowed to do that. Just replace people like that with robots, unfettered robots and AI and all. No. Because people know, the human beings need something to do. If they don't have something to do, it's a security. Your security is going to go to shit overnight. So if you take away people's jobs, what do you expect all those people to just go homeless? You expect all those people
without purpose? Yep.
That's a security threat, and that's exactly what they got in plan in the United States, man. And then guess who ICE is going to come? See, ICE is starting off with the immigrants. Now, after that, it's the homeless. They're not going to care what you look like, man. Let me tell you, plenty of homeless, people with different backgrounds. They're going to come and just harass all kinds of regular people who don't have jobs now. And it is, but this is what people voted for. And you might not believe it if you voted for Trump before. You may not realize that that's what you voted for, but folks said that's exactly what happened. You may not have heard those people, but people did say, if Trump is president, he will do this. This is called Project 2025. And people criticized it in advance. And now you got it. Do you like it? How good is Project 2025 working out now for MAGA? Is this what you thought it would be? Because obviously, if you read Project 2025, you can see it has gaping holes in logic. They talk about all this shit they want to break down, but they didn't talk about none of the effects on the economy, the people, no human costs, nothing. Just nothing. No environmental costs, nothing. They didn't talk about all the negative effects that their bullshit would do. That wasn't in there. No, they focused just on, we're going to cut this, we're going to cut that. And it's all cutting your rights. All cutting fairness out of the system. While Elon Musk just became a trillionaire yesterday. Congratulations to Elon Musk, man. I mean, people believed in you. Yeah, people, it's a scam. People believe in him.
Remember, he's on the S&P right now. The S&P is directly tied to people's retirement accounts.
Yeah.
Right? Your 401k is tied into the market that is has IPO'd a company that has more debt than revenue.
Yep. More debt than
Imagine
revenue.
that.
It's crazy, bro.
This is tied to your retirement.
Yep.
Right?
You're
Just
gonna have
so
to
that
pay
way
it
he
for
can
it.
be rewarded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay for it. You know, it's so bad. It's so bad. But people wanted Elon Musk. They were like, Elon Musk is my friend,
Yep.
man. Elon Musk is going to bring universal. What did they call that? He's going to bring universal income.
Yep, UBI. Yep, Universal Basic Income. Yep.
And now he's like, I got what I want. See ya. He's going to pull a Peter Thiel. Watch. He's going to pull a Peter Thiel. They all said it. What if they don't keep power? They are out of the United States of America. It's over. They don't want to go to jail. And on that goes to show you, they only are loyal to you when they have power. The moment they don't have power, it's fuck all you maggots. Die starving and alone. See you later. I'm out of here, baby. Enjoy the mess. That's what they do, and that's what a lot of people do. Isn't that what they say that colonizers did? Came in, created havoc, and then left people with all the trash and all the chaos. See ya. Well, you didn't care when it happened to somebody else. So, yeah. In any case, I think we know what the plan is. They're going to try to stop these elections. So let's get to the next part. And you know what? Since Elon Musk is fucking rich now, let's just go right over to that and see what that looks like. He's got a lot of money. $1 trillion. A scammer won. Yay!
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Somebody's got to have a victory, right? Somebody's got
Mind
to
you,
win.
he's subsidized by this government. Tesla is only mildly profitable because they are subsidized through EV credits that they receive from the U.S. government.
I mean,
think about that.
It's better he became a trillionaire in the U.S. than here. No, he's a danger. He's a fucking danger. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it's like, what the hell, man? He's like he's a orange hole, right? He's an orange. Yeah, that's what we say.
Orange black hole.
Yeah,
a black hole.
Exactly. He's gonna suck all that shit up, man. It's all gonna get sucked up, bro. And you can't have that much money without having some poor people.
Let's remember that this trillionaire was allowed to publicly have a company that they changed the standards of how a company gets to IPO. Like they changed the standard just for his company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, he was just a part of a department that supposedly cut fraud and waste. There was no fraud and waste found, but instead they made a cut to 1/3 of the jobs of our federal government jobs. Yeah. Insane. Which accounted for less than 0.4 of our deficit. It's insane.
He meant, you thought he said, what did he say they were going to do? Cut fraud and waste. You thought he said cut. He said create fraud and waste. How many letters are different in that? It's a lot. But they both start with C. Cut and create. He just used the wrong word. That's all. Everything else was right. Just the wrong word.
He misspoke.
Yeah. You know, maybe he's not American, so maybe he doesn't know the difference between cut and create. You know, maybe he doesn't. Maybe the word in Afrikaans for cut is create. Maybe the word for create in Afrikaans is cut. Cut. I'm cut. Yeah. Okay. In any case,
no.
It's just an honest mistake. Oops, I did it again. I'm a trillionaire. You're nothing. See you later.
What it will take for Elon Musk to officially become the world's first trillionaire.
See you later. Better you than me. Ha ha ha. Catch me on Easy Street. Ha ha. Catch me if you can. Ha ha.
Robert Frank is here to answer the question.
If it was a 30% jump from the IPO price, does that do it, Robert?
Well, we're going to tell you.
Is it a 20%? Is it a 15%?
Is it bigger than a bread basket?
So,
are those new glasses?
These are the same glasses I've been wearing. I go back and forth on these. Thank you. By the end of today, Elon Musk will likely become the world's first trillionaire. That's with a T. It all depends on SpaceX shares staying above $140 a share, probably. So here's how the math breaks down. His Tesla stake at yesterday's close is worth around $260 billion. That includes those options worth about $120 billion that were tied up in court for a while. He got those back. On SpaceX, the S1 filing lists him with 6.4 billion shares, but that includes about 1.3 billion shares that he votes but won't actually vest until he colonizes Mars or reaches a 1 trillion terawatts of compute.
So you know what that means. You just heard his new hustle. That's his hustle. Give me some more money, dumbass. Give me your money. It's a stick up. You know what I'm saying? Are you finished gambling on Elon Musk? Because is that what you're doing? No. Some people keep going back to the fucking casino. I feel a hot hand today. I'm going to win finally with Elon Musk. Just give him one more chance, man. He's going to, trust me, man. Everyone's going to get universal income. Just keep on supporting him, right? The man said if he colonizes the moon, he will help us first. If that ain't the dumbest fucking thing. Oh, why colonize the moon? Why didn't he just say, why don't you colonize motherfucking a town somewhere where there's some poor people, bitch? Like, do something you can touch. Get it. Instead, he's just like, let me think. What's the wildest thing I could tell these dumb motherfuckers? If I could colonize the moon. And they went with it. They were like, yeah, man, just let them colonize the moon and we'll get our money back. These motherfuckers are dumb. You know how long it's going to take? Yo.
I mean, he doesn't even have the technology to even get out of space, get to outer space. All of his launches have been failures.
You may as well say, let the cow, I'm going to give you your money back when the cow jumps over the moon.
Yeah.
When hell freezes over. They were like, yeah, man, that sounds like a good idea. When hell freezes over, he said he's going to give us our money back when hell freezes over.
That's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
That's going to happen soon. No work tomorrow.
You haven't checked the heat index yet? It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. It's bound to get cold sooner or later. It can't just keep getting hot like this. That's these motherfucking maggots, man. Damn. It's insane. But in any case, let's hear some more promises. Promises. Who made that song, boy? That was a hip song. Promises. Damn, who made that? In any case, Baja. What about her version of that? Promises. Don't you feel about your promises? Do. Damn, she was smooth. Out of the Ukraine, Baja. If you never heard her shit, that album she made, man. Her first album, woo, smooth. Any case, here we go.
I'm not counting those as owned shares or part of his net worth. So at an IPO price of $135 a share, his SpaceX stake would be worth $690 billion. That brings SpaceX and Tesla together to $950 billion. Add in Neuralink, Boring, other assets, probably worth 10 to 20. That brings him right now to a total of about $970 billion. Bottom line, so he's just under that $1 trillion mark. If Tesla stays flat today, and it's actually up pre-market, so there are two variables here. There's the Tesla stake and the SpaceX stake. SpaceX stake, the shares need to stay above $140 a share for Musk to be the first person in the world to receive the fourth comma in his net worth. Now, for more on the millionaires and billionaires being created by the SpaceX IPO and how they're investing and spending their newfound wealth.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the next one. Let's see who else they got to, talking about this, because I don't want to see a propaganda piece. So, yeah.
And the world's richest man, Elon Musk, has become the world's first trillionaire after investors got their first chance to buy shares.
Oh, and I'm sorry. One of my mods says this. If you don't like what V is saying, get the fuck out of the chat. Thank you.
In his company, SpaceX. The initial public offering on Wall Street is the biggest in history, raising $75 billion US. Shares were priced at $135 US per share, jumping to $150 at the start of trading and then peaking at $176 and pushing SpaceX's valuation to almost $2.5 trillion.
It's so funny. It's so funny how they have all these pictures let me see if I can find something. But let's play a little of this though. I'm gonna get something else for us also. Check this.
Well, at the end of trading, shares sat at about $160. That's a 19% increase from its initial price. Mr. Musk says that he did not expect the company to be successful.
I give SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all, to be clear. In fact,
there's his theory. His theory just went out the window. He's like, yeah, if I get this, I'm going to donate this amount of money. He's telling you it ain't going to work. Like, God damn, that is crazy, right? So it shows you he talks with a forked tongue. This man talks with a forked tongue, period. That's what he does.
In fact, I told people this. I said, look, we're probably going to fail, but, we should give it a try, because if we don't, if there's not a new...
If you don't, I won't become the richest man on earth. We got to try, right? We got to try. He's telling you right here, listen to this bullshit. I mean, I really don't understand what's wrong with people, bro. I don't understand what's wrong with people. Look, he told them flat out to their goddamn faces that it's about him becoming the richest man on earth. He's like, it doesn't really he doesn't even believe it has a chance at succeeding. And yet there's still some dumb motherfuckers in the chat talking about, man, SpaceX is winning. Yeah, as a scam, it's winning. As a scam, it is. Scammers win. A lot of scammers win. Although you shouldn't want to teach kids that scamming is better than actually contributing something real to the world. Like, you could actually spend your time and energy, developing something that really does give back to humanity, everyone, or you could come up with a get rich quick scheme, Yeah. So let's hear some more from him. Oh, 2 seconds. Hold on. This is SpaceX, right? Let me make sure we stay on this. Sorry. Is it going to stay on it? I just had to refresh.
And the world's richest man.
Yeah, here we go. It's on it. Here we go. Sorry about that. Let's play it again.
In his company, SpaceX. The initial public offering on Wall Street is the biggest in history, raising 75 billion US dollars. Shares were priced at $135 US per share, jumping to $150 at the start of trading and then peaking at $176 and pushing SpaceX's valuation to almost $2.5 trillion.
Well, at the end of trading, shares sat at about $160. That's a 19% increase from its initial price. Mr. Musk says that he did not expect the company to be successful.
I give SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all, to be clear. In fact, I told people this. I said, look, we're probably going to fail, but, we should give it a try, because if we don't, if there's not a new company that enters space, we will never be a truly spacefaring civilization.
What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? Don't forget this part. See, I really think the popular pieces are like, yay. Whoa! But the reality is that, look, this is also what you've seen out of SpaceX. This one right here.
The other day when they... Whoa! For SpaceX, yet another spectacular setback. This one caught on camera by space enthusiasts in Texas. Oh my God. The uncrewed mega rocket exploding during a static rocket ground test. SpaceX described the explosion as a major anomaly while preparing for a test flight later this month. No injuries, though local residents posted on social media that the blast...
I mean, this is SpaceX. They blowing shit up, yo. I mean, really, this is them. And I don't know why you could have consistent explosions like this and people think that's a positive sign. No. I think something else is going on there. To be honest, that's my view. But
shook their homes. Standing nearly 400 feet tall Starship is critical to NASA's hopes of returning humans to the moon and one day landing on Mars. But this is the fourth explosion so far this year.
There it is. Boom.
In January and March, the rocket...
Fourth explosion. How much was each one of those rockets costing? And the gear, the whole thing? Just the whole budget for that? How
in the
much
billions. In the billions.
did the
But yeah, look it up.
SpaceX explosions this year with the last 4 cost the American people in its entirety. Let's make sure we get all of it.
I follow this engineer who his name is Thunderfoot on YouTube, and he almost covers exclusively how much bull SpaceX and Tesla is as a whole through valuations, through the technology.
Oh, really? What's he called again? What's it called?
Thunderfoot.
Thunderfoot. Okay. Thunderfoot. That's the hashtag, or that's the That's
the name of the channel.
Okay, so it's probably
the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay, so Thunderfoot. All right. Cool. Yeah. Now, it says here, right? It says unlike NASA old programs. Hold on. Let me see here. What? He's trying to say that they're funding their own budget. What is this? How does NASA contract work? NASA has partnered with SpaceX Artemis moon missions, awarding the company $2.89 billion fixed price contract to develop Starship, a lunar lander. Right. So
there you go. It's the contracts. They get the money in the contracts. Yes, they are a private company, but it's like Palantir. Palantir is still a publicly traded company, but they get U.S. contracts and almost work exclusively and get their money exclusively through government contracts. So it's the same thing like SpaceX and the EVs with Tesla, and that's what leads to their profitability. Otherwise, they wouldn't be profitable. Without that funding, they would not be profitable.
Okay. Let me see something here. Yeah, but it's not as much as I thought it was, though. Let me just double check, because 2.6 billion. That's not as much as I thought it would be. I thought it would be more, because apparently it's not the rockets, bro. It's not these explosions.
Yeah, but that's just the contract, right? They're not talking about anything subsidized, right? Like, I'm sure they receive, even like, for instance, Tesla receives government subsidies for even having and providing EVs. So for each EV that they put out, they get a certain amount in subsidies from the government. And I'm sure the same thing comes with, but I'm going to leave the link in the chat for Thunderfoot when it comes to Musk. Yeah. He actually covers this topic when it comes to his current IPO. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah, do that, because I'm not really sure myself. I'm just looking at it right now for the first time. But it says here, yearly breakdown. What the government actually pays roughly 20 to 25% of SpaceX annual revenue. So the American taxpayers are 1/4 of their revenue. You don't know how they fix the books. So that's another thing that they talk about here. It's hard to know because the way the books are done. All right. So that's interesting enough. So you could be 50%. You don't know. Right. But this is what they definitely know at the minimum is. OK. 2021 SpaceX from the U.S. taxpayer got Falcon 9 security launches, early Artemis HLS funding, $2.2 billion. So for that one thing, it was $2.2 billion. 2022, ISS cargo crew runs Starshield development Space Force launches, $2.8 billion. 2023, continued ISS mission military satellite constellations, $3.5 billion. 2024, heavy national security launch cadence Artemis milestone payouts, $3.8 billion. 2025, Starshield expansion lunar lander development milestones, 4.0. So, but this is just making milestones. This is all milestones. Hey, look at this shit, bro. Half of that is milestones. One or it's 5 things, 5 products. 2 of them are milestones. So that's 7.8. That's almost $8 billion. Half is just milestones, right? Not completed missions. Half of that. So that means major contract driving these. Instead of a yearly allowance, the government awards massive multi-year contracts. SpaceX slowly cashes in on the contracts year by year. The biggest buckets of the taxpayer money include NASA commercial crew and cargo ISS missions. This is SpaceX's longest running and most reliable government revenue stream. The deal NASA pays.
That's what I said, yep.
Yeah. The deal NASA pays SpaceX to fly astronauts and cargo to the International Space Station, ISS. Okay. Total value across multiple contracts, rounds, and extensions, CRS, and commercial crew. This total is $14 billion in award value spanning from 2008 to there we go. So yearly impact translates to about $1 billion to $1.5 billion a year as SpaceX routinely executes 4 to 6 missions annually. Okay. What else is there? Is there more to this? Yeah. So it's obviously like maybe, what is it? What's the total? Let me see. What is the total so far? I'm just curious about that. What is the total so far? And that's just SpaceX. That's just SpaceX.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not.
So what he's trying to do is he's trying to combine all his companies.
Yeah.
So he hides the profitability overall. So if one company is doing horrible and is getting more subsidized, he can hide it with the profits from the other company.
You know what?
Right? Which is why he has the company X. But yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Elon Musk gets 32. He gets 42. He got $42 billion already. That's what he's gotten. $42 billion. That's something like that. Maybe 35 billion, something like that. Maybe closer to 35 billion. Sorry about that. I said 42. Yeah, maybe closer to 35 billion. I mean, yeah. But in any case, I'm not going on a deep dive into this because I know there's a lot of components to it. But yeah, what you saw was this shit blowing up, and apparently, they're trying to make it sound like that's not his money, that's not the taxpayer money. But I don't know. All I'm saying is that does this look profitable? Does this look like you're getting something out of it? What do you?
They changed the standards for what a public trading company could be listed on, just because I think it has to be like 6 months consecutive profitability, and they changed it to 3 months just so this company itself can be IPO.
Right. So they just going to cash in real quick and then dump the rest with the smaller investors. There's another scam, basically, And there's a lot of people that, since it's got a good name, and there's a lot of people that have made money, and you notice how the media is going to pump up that there's some people that became millionaires from this. They invested early and all of this stuff, right? They're doing it, but to me, it just looks like he's going to leave people high and dry, like just walk out of SpaceX. I don't believe Elon Musk is the type of guy to really love space, and I think really to make these kind of forward steps, I think it needs to be scientists. It needs to be science motivated, not greed motivated, But in any case, he is a trillionaire. And and people are talking about it everywhere. So let's continue. Let's see here. Let's see what else they're saying. Seeing NBC real quick about this. I just wanted to show people that he's had some explosions. It was 4 in the last year. So just so you know, in a year's time, it's actually been 4 of these rockets that exploded. So
we want to know what.
Yeah, I left the link to the engineer called Thunderfoot.
In the chat,
he has a great coverage. Yeah, he has a great coverage on.
Okay, I'm gonna check it.
Musk, and he breaks it down on the engineering level.
Okay, all right, let me do it.
Become the world's first trillionaire. Robert Frank is here to answer the question.
If it was a 30% jump from the IPO price, does that do it, Robert?
Well, we're going to tell you.
Is it a 20%? Is it a 15%?
Is it bigger than a bread basket?
So,
are those new glasses?
These are the same glasses I've been wearing. I go back and forth on these. Thank you. By the end of today, Elon Musk will likely become the world's first trillionaire. That's with a T. It all depends on.
Yo, Michael, put it in the main chat on the YouTube.
On SpaceX shares staying above $140 a share, probably. So here's how the math breaks down.
Okay. What is this? This is the wrong one? Sorry about that. This is the wrong one. Sorry. Here we go.
And the world's
Here we go. Sorry, I got confused. I went backwards. Sorry about that. Here we go. It's Forbes I'm supposed to be bringing up. Let me see what Forbes
Today
says
on
about this.
Forbes, Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay plan, the case for magical thinking. The only thing more outlandish than Elon Musk's demand for a $1 trillion pay package is the idea that Tesla's shareholders would grant it. And yet, that is how things played out, with everyone from massive investment funds to small individual investors approving compensation so vast the new pope decried it. It's a bet that lightning will strike again for the most successful U.S. industrial entrepreneur of the 21st century, that Musk can overcome Tesla's falling electric vehicle sales and his tarnished image by pivoting to AI-powered robotaxis and humanoid robots. With its stock already trading near an all-time high at over 300 times projected earnings, many investors appear to think that's a foregone conclusion even before votes were tallied at Thursday's annual meeting. Brandon Earhart, Tesla's general counsel, told attendees that over 75% of shareholders approved the pay package. Gautam Mukunda, a professor with the Yale School of Management, said, quote, "Tesla's current valuation only makes sense if you attribute magic powers to Elon Musk. If you break out the new business lines he's talking about, there's no particular reason to believe that Tesla is the leading company for self-driving cars. Waymo's technology is clearly better. The only evidence that Tesla is the leader in this technology is that Elon Musk says so." The vote Thursday came at a fraught time for the company that kickstarted the modern EV industry, one that Musk also seems to be losing interest in. Tesla board chair Robin Denholm and CFO Vaibhav Taneja argued in recent weeks that retaining Musk with stock that would eventually give him at least a 25% stake in the company, up from about 13% currently, is necessary for its long-term growth and stability. Yet it comes as his focus on the company, key to his wealth, is increasingly distracted by 5 other businesses, particularly xAI, his artificial intelligence startup, which will also get a cash infusion from Tesla if shareholders approve. Ross Gerber, CEO of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management, said, quote, "I like the direction of Tesla where it was. The direction he's chosen to move is a result of the fact that people won't buy his cars now." Gerber Kawasaki manages about $4 billion, including at least $80 million of Tesla stock, and voted against Musk's compensation package. Gerber added, quote, "I don't think Elon's taken any responsibility for the damage he's done to the company." While Tesla reported a 7.4% jump in third-quarter EV sales, it was a sugar high, powered by the phasing out of a $7,500 federal tax credit. Even with that increase, the Austin-based company's EV sales are down about 6% so far this year and expected to shrink about 7% in 2025, the second consecutive annual decline. In the US, Musk's high-profile support for President Donald Trump has undermined the Tesla brand's appeal in markets such as California, the biggest buyer of EVs in the country. Meanwhile, in Europe, his embrace of far-right politicians is linked to a double-digit percentage plunge for Tesla sales. China, which has been central to the company's profitability since 2020, is also a declining market for Tesla vehicles, as stronger, lower-cost local competitors, including BYD, Xiaomi, Xpeng, and Nio, chip away at its market share there. Aside from restraining his behavior, Musk's focus should be on developing competitive new products to beat back global EV competitors and focusing on bright spots within Tesla's current operations, its growing battery business, and EV charging services. Gerber said, quote, "I'm personally, and as a shareholder, unhappy that the company I invested in, because its main goal was sustainable transportation and energy to solve the climate crisis, has somehow been usurped into this useless goal of providing robotaxi rides, something that already exists, and robots. I want my company back. Tesla could be the most impactful climate-related company in history. Instead, it's pivoting into garbage." Gerber, who for years was an outspoken Musk fan, was hardly alone in his opposition to the comp proposal for Musk. Norway's sovereign wealth fund and public and union pensions voted against it. Proxy advisory firms Glass Lewis and Gerber, who for years was an outspoken Musk fan, was hardly alone in his opposition to the comp proposal for Musk. Norway's sovereign wealth fund and public and union pensions voted against it. Proxy advisory firms Glass Lewis and Institutional Shareholder Services didn't support it. And even Pope Leo has come out against it. The Holy Father, in an interview last month, linked Musk's pay plan to the broader social ills of extreme wealth gaps. For full coverage, check out Alan Owensman's piece on Forbes.com.
Elon Musk's SpaceX has launched on the stock market, making the richest man on Earth its first dollar trillionaire. Already the most notorious and divisive businessman of his generation, he's now perhaps the wealthiest that has ever lived.
Musk, I think, is in a league of his own.
It's a space company that is potentially going to invent a new way of building and running the whole AI ecosystem.
With an empire that runs from electric cars to the stars has come almost unimaginable riches and political influence that runs from the White House
Take over, Elon, just take over.
to the extreme of Britain's far right. So how did a South African gaming geek amass a private fortune larger than the annual income of 90% of the nations on Earth? And what does such extreme concentrated wealth say about the world in which his companies thrive and do so much to shape?
Our democracies have never had to reckon with one man with $1 trillion.
Let's start with that number. It's big, very big. A 1 with 12 zeros, 1,000 billion, or a million if you prefer. If you stacked $1 trillion in $100 bills, they would reach 1,000 kilometers high, where Musk's satellites circle, a fortune you could quite literally see from space, propelled into orbit by SpaceX, improbably combining a space infrastructure business, rocket, satellites, and the communications network Starlink with xAI, Musk's artificial intelligence arm.
Sixth Sense, peace.
X that he claims will power future revenues on a galactic scale.
He makes incredibly bold bets. He's a risk taker. He takes on technologies that others have given up on.
Musk's early tech ventures, including PayPal, made him a multi-millionaire, but since 2020 his fortune has taken flight. Boosted by skyrocketing Tesla shares, Forbes calculate his net worth rose nearly tenfold to $219 billion in just 2 years. His purchase of Twitter was followed by a drop in Tesla's value, but the subsequent recovery and surging SpaceX and xAI valuations saw him pass $500 billion last year, en route to becoming the first trillion-dollar man. Elon Musk leads a generation of tech bros who have amassed an unprecedented concentration of wealth. Jensen Huang, whose Nvidia chips power the hardware that's driving AI. Mark Zuckerberg, the Meta boss and first social media billionaire. Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder who has his own space side hustle. And Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin. All based in America, all men, all amassing vast wealth, but all in Elon's rearview mirror. Born in apartheid South Africa in 1971 to parents who later separated, he studied first in Canada, then the US, before dropping out to concentrate on a business career like no other. His first startup, the city mapping website Zip2, earned him $22 million when it was sold. He reinvested in an online payment app that merged with PayPal, founded by Palantir billionaire Peter Thiel, and made around $125 million when that was sold to eBay in 2002. He used the proceeds to help seed not one.
Yeah, so what people, just to cut it short, what people need to understand is that Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, they don't give a goddamn about your sovereignty. I mean, they view themselves as having so much power that they don't bend to the law. The law bends to them, to it at this point. And that's how Elon Musk is rolling. And why is that? Because in a capitalistic society, right, one that's poorly regulated, of course, he would be the king. He would show up in your country and everything would work for him just based on corruption. The fact that everything is quid pro quo. You have more money, I do what you say because you have more money and I need your money. Very simple, and the only thing that trumps that would be crazy enough to go against that is the idea of freedom. That's all. The idea of freedom, the idea of democracy, the idea that no matter how much money you think you have, you still only get one vote and you're no better than anybody else. Yeah, exactly. Everybody is important. That's to some people, that's a crazy idea, but that's why I say it that way. But that is the only idea that trumps this on earth. That's the only idea. You see, the only difference with Elon Musk is that he's not a government man. So he doesn't know, he doesn't know how to bend government to make it work for him. Not in that way. He has Trump. Trump was willing to just, say, hey, pay me enough and I'll do it. You know what I mean? That was simple enough. He took advantage of Trump. But now Trump is seeing him become a trillionaire. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Trump likes that? Do you think Trump is celebrating this? So my question to folks today, right now, in the chat, if you're in the chat, if you're watching on your TV, let me know. Pick up your remote and do me this. If you think Trump is celebrating Elon Musk becoming the first trillionaire in the earth, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that, hell no, Trump is too envious and too vindictive, too spiteful, too jealous, too narcissistic, that he definitely is not celebrating this, put a 2 in the chat. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a 2 myself because I don't think Trump is enjoying this. I think this is going to put Trump over the edge. I think it is, because look at this. They celebrating his ass, man. He's like, in money terms, this guy is the richest and Trump's nobody compared to that. And he's got to know that. He's got to know he ain't shit. He's got to know Elon Musk, Trump, you may have gotten the power for an itty bitty piece of time, but he got the money and is walking away with it. Trump, sucker again. he's the sucker to Netanyahu, sucker to Putin, and now he's the sucker to fucking Elon Musk. And Trump is so stupid, now I would throw his ass in jail. I would at this point. He would have a whole bunch of government lawsuits coming at his ass. Oh, richest man on earth can pay some bills. Oh, hell yeah. Why? Because he is corrupt. He is corrupt. But Trump is too stupid. Maybe. I'm just wondering. So here's the next question. How many days is it going to take Trump to launch his first attack on Elon Musk to try to, make him understand who the boss is? And I'll put it this. I would say this. Make it so simple. When is the DOJ going to charge Elon Musk? Let's put it in those terms. Is it going to happen this year? Do you think if you think the DOJ is going to do it this year because Elon Musk this is just $1 trillion and Trump just, you can't control the motherfucker with $1 trillion anyway. Let's be honest. That's never been tried before. Let's just be honest about it. So do you think it's going to be this year? I think it's going to be this year. I think Trump is definitely, and it may not even take the rest of this year. I think Trump is going to go after Elon Musk now this year. I don't think he's trying to wait.
He'll go subsidies. He'll go after the government subsidies. That's the easiest way, right?
Yeah. He will wait till after the midterm elections, but it's coming. It's coming. And it's coming. Now, if you think it's going to be next year, put a 2 in the chat. And if you think it's going to be after the next election by the next president that Trump will never do it, put a 3 in the chat after the next presidential election. Yeah, put a 3 if you think Trump will never do it. Put a 2 if you think it's next year. Or after the midterms. I'm sorry, 2 for after the midterms. And before all of that, before the end of the year, let's say, put a 1 if you think it's just the end of the year, period. All right, let's see here. State is always above anyone. Okay, I thought Trump was using Elon. Sound like Musk was using. Yeah, because Trump is an imbecile. He's a narcissist, man. So all you got to do is tell him he's the greatest on earth, and and that's going to be Elon Musk's fault too. Look, that's how it's going to be. But Elon Musk, I think he doesn't trust people. I don't think Elon Musk trusts people. So if you call him the greatest person on earth, he probably thinks you're just coming after his money. Whereas though Trump doesn't really have that much money. So he really does feel those things. Like he really needs you to compliment him. And when you tell him, he trusts you, man. Trump fucking trusts you when you kiss his ass. Say something nice to him. Yeah. But I'm curious. Matter of fact, let me put the poll up. Let me just do it. It's easier. I want to do the poll. Let's see here. Will Trump indict Elon out of jealousy? Let's just keep it very simple. Yes, this year. Okay. Yes, after the midterms. And then the last one is no, never. That's for the real Trump supporters. No, never. He'll never do that. Trump would never betray Elon. There's no cracks in the friendship. Shit, there's a whole lot of cracks. This amount of money makes some cracks in anybody, yo. $1 trillion and you ain't got nothing. I mean, let me ask you something. Let's say you worked with somebody for a couple of years. Right. You did a new endeavor together. Maybe you didn't have that much money. Let's say you had a little influence though. You had a lot of influence and you had a partner with a lot of money. And let's just say your partner went from 5 billion, no, 20 billion. Let's say 100 billion, 50 billion to $1 trillion. And then your friendship was over. And you got like 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion. And he got $1 trillion. Let's say you got 20 billion and he got $1 trillion. What would you think? How would you feel, Michael from Brooklyn?
I would feel slighted, right? I would feel cheated. And honestly, I mean, personally, I would be happy that someone I hopefully like and am in business with or have done business with is doing well. But to see it from a narcissistic perspective, as like Trump would. He probably feels slighted, right? He probably feels like the only reason why he has that success is due to Trump himself, right?
Elon Musk wouldn't be shit without Trump, right? Isn't that right? I'll give Trump that credit, right? He wouldn't be shit without Trump.
He wouldn't be as popular.
Trump made Elon Musk. I want to speak to Trump's narcissism. Man, you wouldn't be shit without Trump, Elon Musk. Fuck you. Okay? And the only reason why you ever hung around Trump was to use him. Okay? Because he's a good man. And you are a phony. You're not even a real American, Elon. Okay? Now, Milton said Israel should indict Elon. Okay. Marinia, yo, V6, see you later. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, I think there's a rift, and I think these two guys both know they don't like each other, and and Trump, he's going to need Elon to give him some of that trillion, at least 100 billion, right? No, I'm joking. He's going to need 10 billion. He's going to need what, 50 billion? Will he need 100 billion?
Look, I mean, what's 100 billion compared to $1 trillion?
To $1 trillion, right?
Like it's pennies on the dollars, right? It's pennies on the dollars.
Right. So he's going to need.
It's like if you had $1,000 and someone said, "Give me 100."
Yeah, I can't even count that high and shit. I'm like, is 100 billion a lot? When you got $1 trillion, damn, that's a lot.
Yeah,
the man,
it's a lot.
Elon Musk is the king of the world.
Inconceivable wealth. Inconceivable wealth.
Yeah.
When you cannot even imagine what that looks like.
Yeah.
That's what it means, right? We don't understand. Like your layman's people don't understand what $1 trillion is. They barely understand what $1 billion, right? Yeah. 9,900 million is $1 billion, right? So 9,900 billion is $1 trillion.
Yeah.
So he'd be valued at $890 billion versus the $1 trillion if he gave Trump 100 billion. Think about that. That's nothing.
That's crazy, right? That's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. He's the king of the world. Elon Musk is the king of the world, and somebody needs to knock him off his high horse. That's really what it comes down to. But Trump is too much of a bitch to do it, right? So
I agree. And he probably has dirt on him, right? Like he was so ingrained with this current administration that we don't know what was said behind those closed doors while egos were thriving, right? When Trump's ego was thriving.
Elon knows what was
He
in the
knows. He
Epstein
knows for
files.
sure.
He knows.
He knows.
That's how he was able to control Trump. Trump is they got everyone knows.
I
The
mean,
secret is out.
Elon's in the files as well, right? Like Elon has a small part to play in the files as well, right? Trying to party with Epstein, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's all public information, right? Like he got turned down by Epstein.
Yeah, why not? You only live once, right? You only live once. Why not party out? It's Elon, why not party out? I mean, this motherfucker takes drugs. You know what I'm saying? So if he's taking ketamine, he was on Epstein Island with some girls, little girls. Period. Right? I mean, come on, man. If you're going to do ketamine, then what's stopping you from doing anything else, man? That's insane, man, to sit there and be like, you know what? I'm going to try ketamine. You know what? Yeah, that means you living La Vida Loca, man. You're living on the wild side. So, fuck it. I don't see why he wouldn't be. Who knows what else, man? He could be worse than Trump. He could be. Those Sasha Riley. You remember, Sasha Riley said some really horrific things about these people. Said the things they were into is just disgusting. So. Elon's the richest man on earth. He could be 10 times worse. He could be 1,000 times worse than Trump.
Yeah, money buys power and influence, right? So it's the reason why Trump put someone like Musk, right? Yeah. Not only to appeal to his base, but put him to have, oversight over Doge when his companies run at a deficit, right? Yeah. Like they're not even profitable, right? But somehow this man is going to balance the budget of the U.S. when he did nothing. He did a fraction of what he said, only to have billions added to it.
Somebody said in the chat, this is Mad MMML says, like that's a real name. Let me guess, no real picture on the account. But in any case, he said, why does someone have to knock Elon down? Because you're jealous? Nah, man. Because see, one thing I figured out is money don't make the man. You know what I mean? Like, look, I'm gonna tell you something. I'll tell you this, man. I'm not a rich man, but I'll tell you one thing. I don't have to buy pussy, and Elon Musk is a part of that crowd. And on top of it, line me up with any class. The women he even deals with. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this, man? I like classy women. You know what I'm saying? I like classy ladies, to be honest with you. So money, if you deal with me with money, and I like classy people, I like stand-up people. I like people that appreciate what can I say, raw talent. You see what I mean? Realness. Culture, that kind of stuff. This guy, I would never be jealous of him because outside of the money, he doesn't have shit that I don't have. You see what I'm saying?
He doesn't even have a family. His kids don't like him.
Exactly. This motherfucker's own kids don't like him, yo. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's got loads. What do you got? How many kids?
Like 13, 14 kids.
So I don't look at that. I'm more conservative than Elon Musk. I don't do ketamine. Why would I be jealous of a motherfucker that's doing ketamine? Why you think he's doing ketamine because he's happy? Is that what you think?
It's because he openly speaks about his depression.
What the fuck? This motherfucker's rich and he's on ketamine. Hell bro. Come on, man. He's in Trump's office. He doesn't care that people see him lunching off of drugs publicly. He doesn't even care. Why would I be jealous of that? You see what I mean? Like, I'm definitely not jealous of that. And I'm not jealous of Clarence Thomas. I ain't jealous of Orange Man, fucking Twinkie Trump, goddamn Cheeto Man Trump. I'm not jealous of I'm not jealous of Pam Bondi's ass. Look at me, man. I'm 55 years old. Do I look in bad shape? You see what I'm saying? Why would I be jealous? Nah, not jealous. Not jealous at all. I had a lot of fun in my life. I like my life nice and peaceful and chill, down to earth and beautiful. I don't have to be rich to have it like that. So, but let me tell you one thing for sure though. If I did have his money, I would behave differently than him. Right? If I had his money, first of all, I would definitely be more serious about climate change. if I had his money. And I would definitely, if I had his money inside of the United States, I would definitely do something to help the country become, how can I say this? As far as climate issues, right? As far as clean water, as far as clean air, right? As far as healthcare, as far as quality of life, it would be up higher. You know, the American people, right? They would be happier than places like Denmark, happier than places like Norway. We would have the best, you know, all of the citizens, everyone, the poorest to the poor would have some dignity in their daily life. You see what I mean? Regardless of your race, regardless of your color, regardless of your religion. Why? Because I'm the type of person that likes to bring people together. I don't like to divide people. I like to be, and I also feel American peoples have worked. We're hardworking people. And we work to the bone often ourselves. We still living in the 1900s with that kind of shit. You know, the American work ethic is like 1900s. Like, people work themselves to the bone. People work themselves to the death. I would like to be known as the guy that changed all that. You know what I'm saying? Brought the average American out of the 18th century or 1900s. And brought them into the 2000s, you know, more like in a more sustainable way, in a more fairer way, in a way to where the Americans feel like they get something from their tax dollars and they get something from their government, and that what they get is just a fair shot. I would like to be that guy. If I had $1 trillion, I would do that instantly. I would do that overnight, you know, and I would work with others that have plans that, you know, that could implement these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? And they're all around. There's a lot of young geniuses and a lot of people that understand, you know, what the issues are globally and how the U.S. could lead. And I would start at home, you know, so that's what I would do. I mean, you know, we're not the same kind of people, man. Money doesn't make you, doesn't build character. You know, so it's obvious. Look at this. This motherfucker's holding up Nazi signs and shit. What a poor character. What a poor character. You know, even Hitler was a goddamn sellout. You know, and this motherfucker's like mimicking him. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, let's go on, y'all. Keep the party going.
$1 trillion companies. The first was Tesla. He became majority owner of the electric vehicle startup in 2004 and in 2010 took it public, selling a vision of electric autonomous vehicles that, helped by generous subsidies, defied the skepticism.
But I tell you one thing. I tell you what I won't be. Call me whatever. I tell you what I won't be. I won't be a Elon Musk ass kisser. I ain't going out on media like that. You won't find me in the chat kissing Elon Musk ass and shit like, yeah, man, that man, stop being jealous of that man. He got $1 trillion, man.
The first thing I told him,
leave him alone.
I said, I don't know anything about automotive. I've never done anything in there. And he said, well, we're not an automotive company. That was more than 10 years ago.
Within a decade, Tesla's stock price had multiplied, making it the most valuable car maker in the world and leaving Ford, General Motors and the rest in its dust. At the same time, he was building SpaceX, aiming to do for aerospace what he'd already done to the automobile industry.
The idea that there are already strong players in an industry kind of whets his appetite to disrupt them. The innovations are not brand new, but you know, they're also sometimes absolutely breathtaking.
Its reusable rockets have slashed the cost of launches and transformed the economics of space from a state-level pursuit to a competitive private enterprise. Today, SpaceX is responsible for 80% of the mass that's launched into space, helped by government contracts, including transport for astronauts to and from the International Space Station. It includes Musk's Starlink satellite communication network, the only profitable division of the company, and his wildly ambitious pitch to potential investors, including you and me, is that orbital data centers will slash
You know,
the
think
cost.
about this. So Elon Musk, he's celebrating. Look, he's not even caught up in a scandal. That's what I mean. Trump. That's why I say Trump is going to come after this man, because the reality of it is that Elon Musk doesn't have any real scandals like Trump. But, you know, so, and he's got $1 trillion, right? So Trump knows the game. everyone is going to bend to Elon Musk because he has money. The chances of you bending to Trump are slowing down. They're running out because Trump is just really caught up in real scandals like, the Epstein files and shit, and also other criminal activity, right? So it is going to go down. People may not be able to imagine it yet, but it's going to go down because it's the laws of human nature. You see what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with these type of toxic people. You know what I mean? These people are toxic. Yeah, they're narcissistic. Exactly. You want to say something about that? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, with these narcissistic individuals, it is a cutthroat environment. But when we talk about unchecked capitalism, it's one of the only things that bring them together, right?
Yeah.
And do we think it's a coincidence that? Yeah, exactly. A marriage of convenience. Perfectly said. When we look at this current administration and the ties they have to what's considered oligarchy, right? We move in an oligarchy manner, right? When Trump surrounds himself around billionaires with unchecked capitalism while enriching himself by selling crypto coins, NFTs, sneakers, watches, right? And MAGA merchandise. And all while manipulating the market and having multiple millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in trades openly as a president while manipulating the market himself. It's what, he encourages that by surrounding himself by those same people, by letting them know, hey, look, you support me, this is how I will support you through enriching you. When we look at the subsidies that Musk gets, when we look at the subsidies that Peter Thiel gets, these are two individuals who essentially got rich off of PayPal. It's not a coincidence that they're both prominent in this current admin's, administration.
Yeah, they bought their way in. They bought their way in.
They bought their way in, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? They bought their way in, right? And unfortunately, we're the ones who have to subsidize that. We're the ones who have to pay for them to get billions to become trillionaires, right?
These guys they're running from Trump. They know it's over for Trump. And if they want to survive, they have to segue into looking like people that have ethics and morals and actually care about the American people. And so they're going to start distancing themselves from Trump so fast. It's over. It's over. That's what I believe. Because think about this. You could ponder giving Trump $100 billion and it would be nothing. It would be a drop in the bucket, right? But think about how much $100 billion is in terms of how much he has and his family has. That's way more than they even have. They don't even have $100 billion together, right?
It is.
So there's still the power dynamics are so great. Why would you have to give them $100 billion when they can't do shit to you? You can buy everyone else, right? So, and then they have the information on them too. They got all the data on them. You see what I mean? So I think how this plays out is that it's easier for them to dump Trump than it is to do anything else, right? Everything else costs more, but distancing and dumping Trump, Elon Musk can easily turn the internet against Trump. He can put out more information. He can, he can make trolls spread the information, troll farms like some of them that come here, right?
Look at the grifters, right? The grifters have already jumped ship, right? The Candace Owens of the world, the Tucker Carlsons of the world, they've already jumped ship. So that's, once the rats start fleeing the boat,
that's true.
The boat
These
is
are
sinking.
the rats.
The boat is sinking. The boat is sinking, right? Once you know the rats flee the boat is sinking. But yes, go ahead.
And this is crazy because it's like Candace Owens, it's like you said, the rats. It's so funny because the lowest are fleeing. Even the lowest ones. I mean, sure, I'm talking about the ones that have a little leverage, but they're the lowest of those. That's the Candace Owens type. That's the Tucker Carlson type, right? They're even further down on the list, and they left. Now it's just up to Musk. Pretty much, because Peter Thiel definitely is already out of there. Pretty much,
exactly. Yeah, right. Like, let's look at the amount of money a person like a Peter Thiel has. He does not benefit by going to Argentina. When people talk about taxes, it becomes so arbitrary at that level, at that value. The way taxes don't affect you and your wealth is hilariously. It's just how people take it, right? They assume, oh, if I had $100 and someone was potentially taxing me, or they look at their
he
paycheck
ain't
in
leaving
terms
because of the
income
taxes.
tax.
He's not leaving because of the taxes. No,
These
it's
people
something
do
else.
not receive income tax. The highest amount that you are taxed in the U.S. is through income tax. Right?
Yeah.
They do not receive a W-2. These people are not working a regular 9-to-5 job.
They don't make a salary.
Their valuation,
Yeah.
they don't make a salary.
Yeah.
They're not getting taxed income-wise.
Yeah.
So when people argue the whole taxation thing, these people are so rich. The Jeff Bezos, the Musk, the Peter Thiels of the world, they don't get a W-2 at the end of the year.
No.
Right?
W-2 is for poor people.
Taxes. It is. No, it seriously is. It's for the working class. That's why you're considered a working class, because you work for someone. These people don't work for anyone. So there's no reason why a Peter Thiel would leave, right? He can, again, we circled back to this plenty of times before. He can move to Texas. He can move to Florida, where there's 0 state taxes, and he'll barely get taxed federally because he doesn't receive a W-2.
Yeah,
so
and if you go against him,
arbitrary.
and if you go against him, he'll just buy you. So know, it's
he'll
like
buy you. He'll buy the elections, right? He'll buy the influence it takes to vote you out, to put the people in the legislation and the laws that will benefit him.
I
right?
think
so when people,
I think Elon Musk tried to bribe, tried to do the same thing to Kamala and to Kamala Harris. And I think she didn't go for it. And I think he took it personal, because he's a power hungry dude. So he likes to flex his power, flex that his money means something. You don't mean anything, Kamala Harris. It's me who means something. I'm the one. I'm more popular than you in this country. It's me that matters. I come from South Africa, and now I'm basically the top man in this government, in this country. Me. That's my story. That's not you. And I think he really didn't like Kamala Harris at all. Because of course, everyone, you're not going to be able to buy them. You're not going to be able to buy everybody.
I think he saw the money in the grift, right? He saw what what the world
he saw
is
how
seeing now
stupid Trump
through
is.
populism.
Yeah.
Yes.
He saw how weak Trump is and how stupid Trump is and how Trump needed a friend. Yeah, by being his friend. Lift him up, keep him from falling, protect him, and he'll give you everything. And that's exactly what Trump did. Trump is a dumbass.
That's exactly what he did.
And check this out.
And don't get me wrong. I do think that Democrats, had they been the popular group, Musk would have. He would have. Again, that's what the grifting is, right?
Yeah.
You go where the populism and the money is, and had they been popular at the time, he would have jumped on that bandwagon with the Democrats as well.
Yeah, he
would
have. Yeah, exactly.
Saw the power and influence in Trump.
Yeah,
right.
He saw
we have
his audience is stupid, so they're easy to manipulate. His following.
They are, but let's just be real. The majority of his audience cannot afford his car. Huh? They can't afford his car. They can't afford the products that he makes.
Right. They can't. They can't. But you get more for your money with MAGA, right? They're cheaper. They require less. It's true, man.
They require. No, you're right. You're right.
They believe
you
in
a whole lot less, and you get more loyalty.
Yeah. They gave them that loyalty, man. It's like, the left doesn't even know what that kind of thinking is like.
No, they don't.
We might have issues of corruption, but not to that degree, to where we don't. It's like, no, there's still some kind of standards left.
Yes.
But check this out. Nonetheless, going along with this idea that Elon Musk is about to be out. He's got his money now, so he broke his record. You got to understand, he got his goal. He reached his mole. Right, he got where he wanted to get. He's not going to get $2 trillion, so it can calm down now. So basically, he's got to be looking to what his next hit is. But while he's doing that, look at what else is going on. Check this out.
I'm joined now by the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, Robert Garcia. Congressman, we have some new news here as it relates to Epstein and J.D. Vance, the vice president, that hasn't been in the spotlight before. Can you explain what that news is?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is pretty bombshell reporting. The New York Times has obviously put out a pretty significant report. We also hear there's more to come about J.D. Vance actually now being centered in this Epstein scandal and cover-up. We had no idea that Vance had really been involved in the past. He's made some comments, but now we learned that J.D. Vance is basically hosting and leading meetings in the Situation Room about the Epstein investigation. Now, the Situation Room is used for national security, for issues of war and peace, for major issues around the country. And J.D. Vance, Susie Wiles, Kash Patel, Todd Blanche are having these meetings about Epstein in the actual Situation Room. And it's clear from this reporting that they're talking about ways of protecting Donald Trump. So it's very significant. It's the first time Vance is now at the center of this cover-up, directing, giving ideas, making suggestions, like including really bizarre ones. And so we've said we've got to talk to J.D. Vance and the rest of the folks in that room. Why are they playing cover-up for Donald Trump?
In terms of getting J.D. Vance in front of the House Oversight Committee, what is the likelihood of that happening, and what action can and are you taking in service of that?
Well, we just made the formal request to get J.D. Vance, to get Patel, Susie Wiles, some of the communication staff, folks that were in that room in front of the committee to Comer. At the end of the day, it's Comer's decision. Now, look, he may not go along with this, but we can put the pressure on. When we've put pressure on, we've heard from folks, if we force people to come in, and certainly we win the majority, we're going to expect these people are in front of our committee actually answering these questions. Look, J.D. Vance made some wild accusations, as well as provided some crazy ideas. He suggested that Tucker Carlson interview Ghislaine Maxwell. They're talking about how they can maybe pardon, what a pardon would mean for Ghislaine Maxwell. How can we get Ghislaine Maxwell to say that she had nothing to do with Donald Trump, or that Donald Trump had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein? This is a cover-up that we are reading about in real time. And now we know that J.D. Vance and Susie Wiles wild accusations, as well as provided some crazy ideas. He suggested that Tucker Carlson interview Ghislaine Maxwell. They're talking about how they can maybe pardon.
So J.D. Vance is in the war room, right? Talking about coming up with schemes about how they can suggest that Tucker Carlson, they must be so desperate. Tucker Carlson can interview Ghislaine Maxwell, and and Trump could pardon her. Let me see. Or Trump could, or she could exonerate Trump. Like, hasn't she already done that?
Wild accusations, as well as provided some crazy ideas. He suggested
who
Tucker
are you referring
Carlson
to again?
Interview.
What'd you say?
You said who did you just mention just now?
That was J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance suggesting they're saying he was in the war room, right, in the White House, yep. And he was suggesting that they're in damage control about the Epstein files, and that he Go ahead.
So mainly that's about him trying to control the narrative with now Bill Gates being questioned.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So now that's opening the door to more investigations, potentially more investigations on a public platform, right?
Yeah.
So that information now, it goes back into the spotlight, and now he's seeing how many people are involved, right? Remember when Pam Bondi said there is no list, but somehow now they're able to investigate people like a Bill Gates,
it's
right?
True.
So
they in chaos, bro. It's all over the place.
Exactly. They're in chaos mode,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So to circle back to all this goes back to the to when Dan Bongino left, right? He left primarily because this information was slowly leaking out. He got mad at Pam Bondi for saying there's a list and then claiming the list doesn't exist, right? And now here we get months later down
that
the
is
road,
confusing.
we get Bill Gates.
Yeah, that's so fucking.
It's a lot.
It's confusing, bro. Which one is it? Is there something going? And they did this about there's no bankruptcy, no bankruptcy. Now, Bill Gates says there was bankruptcy because he was. I mean, not bankruptcy, blackmail, because he was being blackmailed. So there was, and everyone knew it was, but it's all a cover up. Yo, Lisa says she thinks that J.D. Vance is going to take Erica Kirk. Maybe, who knows? Because they all over the place. It's a hot mess.
I think it's with JD Vance. It's more optics. Of course, like we're gonna make jokes and say he's gonna take Erica Kirk, but remember his wife is a minority. She's Indian.
Is it a joke?
Right? She's a well-educated Indian individual. So MAGA would rip him apart. So for appearances purposes, he's leaving his wife out of public sight, right?
I don't think they're going to be together, bro. I don't think.
Her.
I think they over, bro.
I think that all of it is optics. I think he does have a wife. I think it depends on if he becomes the next Republican leader or face of the Republican Party, how they choose to pivot away from the further right expectations of nationalism and patriotism, right? I think it's all optics. Let's make this very clear. He would not be seen with Erica Kirk in public if they were actually doing something. That's a photo op. Let's make that very clear. Right? He wants to be seen with her in public because he wants to be seen with her in public. Whatever they were going to do, if they were actually doing something, we as the public would not know about it.
Maybe they just wanted to divert attention from people about something else. Yeah,
that's
true.
exactly why. Because
agree.
to be honest with you, whatever they don't want us to know, we won't know. You think him hugging her on stage or vice versa isn't for the public to speak on? Of course it is. Let's not get caught up in the redirections, right? These are all redirections from the Epstein files. These are all redirections from legislation. These are all redirections from, the setbacks in voting rights and women's rights. It's so we don't continue to actually speak about the things that matter. That does not matter, and they want you to speak about that. That's what they want. They rather you have rumors of him and Erica Kirk than speak about legislation. They rather him and rumors with Erica Kirk than you speak about Epstein files. That's what it's for. This is, again.
Yo, Lisa says,
Trump's team isn't dumb.
She says, so Vance wanted us to know about the couch. I don't think that one, but I know I hear what you're saying, Eric. But listen, also Ant Banks, what's up? Says, pardon criminals is more important than helping American citizens. Cover up the pedos is more important than lower cost of living. Yeah, that's where we at right now. That's where we at. That's the low.
And he publicly says it.
Yeah,
he doesn't care about inflation, right?
Yeah, and he damn sure don't care about any victims. Trump has never said I care about the victims, has he?
He's never.
It's a shame.
Right? He's had his mouthpieces say it. Right? He's has the Caroline Lovitz say Trump cares about the people. He cares about the victims. Right? He's had the Pam Bondi say, hey, he cares about the victims, right? All while having his personal attorney meet with Ghislaine Maxwell and put her from a maximum security prison to a minimum security prison after meeting her.
Why do you think he did that? No, I'm joking.
I mean, we can speculate, right? But why? Do we think that was because he felt so sorry for her and that she was so innocent after being proven guilty that she deserves to be in the minimum security?
It's dangerous in the other prison. She could die, man. And everybody else could too on any other day.
Exactly.
Right. All the other criminals can also die any other day of the week.
So why don't we move all of them to a minimum security prison too?
Let's protect her. It's dangerous there, bro. It's inhumane. Yeah, so they moved her. Yeah, man. It's sad, bro. It is so sad to watch this shit. But look, there's more dirt. Let's see here. Is there more dirt? Let's hear some more dirt.
Ghislaine Maxwell. They're talking about how they can maybe pardon, what a pardon would mean for Ghislaine Maxwell. How can we get Ghislaine Maxwell to say that she had nothing to do with Donald Trump or that Donald Trump had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein? This is a cover-up that we are reading about in real time. And now we know that J.D. Vance and Susie Wiles have been in on it. So they have a lot to answer for. And quite frankly, they have a lot to answer for to the survivors.
How can Republicans justify potentially having wielded contempt powers for Hillary Clinton to testify in front of the House Oversight Committee as it relates to the Epstein files, but not J.D. Vance, who is on record perpetuating the cover-up? I mean, he seems a lot more involved in this thing than Hillary Clinton ever did, and yet they were willing to use whatever tools they had at their disposal and whatever punishments and accountability methods they had at their disposal to make sure that she appeared. So how do you justify bringing in one but not the other?
You don't. I mean, the reality is that J.D. Vance has clearly now played a big role in this cover-up, and we just found out about it. And part of this is the fact that they're having these meetings in the Situation Room. Why are they there? They clearly viewed this as a massive security threat to who? To Trump? To their administration? They know that in that room, it's very obviously there is technology in that room that really ensures that folks don't find out what they're talking about. And so it's concerning that through the reporting through the New York Times, they're giving us a snapshot. But I want to know, how many times did they meet in the Situation Room? How many times with JD Vance involved. The reporting talks about certain instances, but there are clearly, if we're reading about some, there has to be a lot more.
Right.
And so we have, I think JD Vance has a lot to answer for, and I hope he's asked by the press and the mainstream media, what the hell is he doing? And why is he trying to play cover up for Donald Trump? What does actually JD Vance know? Does he know what's in the files? Why haven't the rest of the files been released? And these are all important questions.
If Democrats are able to take the majority in Congress and you become chairman of the Oversight Committee, what will that mean in terms of you being able to wield your power to compel the testimony of someone like JD Vance, given the questions we now have?
Look, I think that JD Vance, first of all, is clearly, and we already know that he's a liar and he does whatever Donald Trump wants him to do. That's been clear throughout this whole administration. He refuses to ever stand up to Donald Trump. And I think what we're learning here is that he's a much more central player in the Epstein cover-up than we had ever thought before. And so we're going to have to do everything we can to compel him to testify, to push the media, get public opinion. And I'll say, look, I was just looking at some reports and polling that the Epstein investigation and this broader kind of Epstein case is the single most bipartisan thing in the country. Yeah. And it's where Donald Trump is actually the weakest. More people care, Republicans care about this and believe that Donald Trump is failing at this than any other topic, more than the economy, more than immigration, more than anything else. Democrats as well. And so it's united the country. And so if JD Vance thinks he's just going to go walk around and we're going to allow him to tell lies and not answer questions, he's mistaken.
Have you gotten any sense from your Republican colleagues whether there is I'm sure there's not an appetite to call JD Vance in to testify, but an openness, a willingness? Do you think that those people could be pressured to call JD Vance to testify?
I think there are going to be some Republicans, Tom Massey, Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, that might be supportive of that type of effort. But I think that JD Vance, the bigger question in the Republican Party, broadly speaking, is he had never been a part of this investigation before. And there was no evidence linking him to any sort of the cover-up. But now it's clear he is not only part of the cover-up, he's leading cover-up meetings in the situation. We can't get more serious than that. And right. So he has a lot to answer for. And I've encouraged my congressional colleagues over the last few days to stay on this. We've got to hold JD Vance's feet to the fire here. He's the vice president of the United States, second in line of the presidency, and he's playing cover-up for Donald Trump. It's got to end.
And he's pathetic. I mean, JD Vance is just pathetic. I don't understand what it is people. How could you be confident of JD Vance? How could you be confident in anything about him? That I totally don't get it. He's a pawn. If Trump was a pawn, this dude is an even worse type of pawn. You know, I could understand being blackmailed, you know, and having nasty things like people say about Trump on videotape. I could imagine that's got to be like might want to do anything to keep some of those things a secret, right? But what's JD Vance's excuse? I mean, you know, he's even worse, I think, because the last time I checked, and I don't know, is that the people never said that they have him in pictures like that, or they've never suggested stuff like that about Vance. So I don't know what it is. To me, it just seems like he's spineless, period, JD Vance. But in any case, let's go on. There's some more about these spills from Legal AF. I want to see what they got to say about this same.
Trump administration has been rocked by leaks involving the Epstein files, which could actually lead to members of his cabinet, including Todd Blanche, being called before Congress and an oversight committee about the Epstein cover-up. Because all we read in Maggie Haberman's article and new book in the New York Times is about cover-up, that the Trump administration never wanted to be transparent, that they were worried about what was inside of the files, and they should be because of the connective tissue, not just among and between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, but other people in his cabinet, like documents connecting Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, to Jeffrey Epstein in a deeper way about business dealings than ever before reported. And when you put all of these people who were sitting in a room effectively conspiring on how to cover up for the Epstein files, of course, the Oversight Committee is going to be calling them in to talk about it and to talk about the groundwork for possible impeachment. But the other takeaway is the leak, the detail of which Maggie Haberman reported what she reported. is so deep, is so detailed that somebody had to either be recording it or they had to have, or there were transcripts related to it. My two candidates for that, Kash Patel and or Pam Bondi, or people in the room with them, because they phoned in the Situation Room. And therefore, we don't know who was on the other end of that phone call, and they could be cooperating with Maggie Haberman. We talk about the bombshell and the aftermath, what happens next on the Legal
Do you
AF
hear that?
podcast.
Do you hear what he just said? He's saying that they have this much detail about it. Apparently, there was two people that made phone calls that were in this room. Two people, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. And he's saying that it's likely one of them that leaked this. So let's hear that one more time.
The leak, the detail of which Maggie Haberman reported what she reported, is so deep, is so detailed that somebody had to either be recording it or they had to have, or there were transcripts related to it. My two candidates for that, Kash Patel and or Pam Bondi, or people in the room with them, because they phoned in the Situation Room. And therefore, we don't know who was on the other end of that phone call, and they could be cooperating with Maggie Haberman. We talk about the bombshell and the aftermath, what happens next on the...
Okay. Now I see what he's saying. He's saying it could be someone that was talking to Kash Patel or Pam Bondi, because they made calls from the Situation Room. So whoever was on the other line might have something to do with the leak, and they'll never be able to know because there's more than one person that was on the line, right? So, damn, that's deep, yo. I think it's crashing. Look, they may get away with rigging the elections, but I don't think they're going to win the public, the whatever the public, the battle for the public's support. I don't think they're going to win that battle. I think they're going to lose the public totally. They might be able to rig the election, but the public's going to hate them. You know, what you think
That's
about
why they're
that?
in the Situation Room. That's why they're in the Situation Room. This is a situation that clears bipartisanism, right? That unite both the left and the right. And if it is exposed, he won't recover from this, right? His individuals like Howard Lutnick. So Howard Lutnick, he was the neighbor to Jeffrey Epstein.
Hoorah! He won't survive this shit. Yay! Good news. Yay! Did you hear that? Trump's going to lose. Go ahead.
No, he won't survive it, right? Which is why JD Vance is trying to control the situation, right? JD Vance is trying to write the narrative and write the playbook on how they should move forward. But they've already had, systems in place by even putting someone like a Todd Blanche in power, right? He's the one orchestrating it as Trump's former criminal defense attorney, right? He's the one who met with
desperation. That screams desperation. They're so bad, man. They're so bad, bro.
They're horrible, right? And this is the narrative that, and this is, the funny part about this is it's not how much injustice he's done on the judicial side with the Supreme Court. It's not how much he's done on the legislation side with the big beautiful bill. It has nothing to do with the NDAA, which integrates military information and funding to Israel. None of that is what scares them. They're not afraid of that. They're not afraid of the oligarchs getting all-time high money, right? The Peter Thiels and the Musks of the world. They're not afraid of that. They're afraid of what is going to be exposed and spoken about with the discoveries of Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Yeah. Those maggots don't require much.
Now that we have buildings. I mean, they don't, right? No, they don't. But those are more complicated, nuanced topics when we talk about legislation for them, when we talk about, the judicial system for them.
It's too boring.
They don't care about that. It's too boring.
Yeah. They need a doggy biscuit. Yeah. They need a bone, Here you go, boy. Go get it. Go catch. They need something exciting.
But now when they're realizing that bone isn't as tasty because it's coming from rotting flesh, when exposed through the lens of the Epstein files, now they're reconsidering or at least speaking about and that will dwindle down his base. Even just the whispers of how damaging this information could be dwindles down his base to some of the most radical supporters, right? Because now they have to second guess their moral perspective, right?
Yo, bro, they in the war room talking about, Jeffrey Epstein's secrets. They're not talking about invading a country. They're talking about a nuclear threat. They like Jeffrey Epstein files is the threat. What are we going to do about this shit? Oh, my God. Let's go to the war room, yo. Top secret. Gotta, this is important. Where's the Secretary of State? Ask him. What does he think about the Epstein files? It is crazy. That's because it's so bad, and it's all going to come out. One thing for sure is it is definitely all going to come out. Now, whether they rig the elections or not, that's a side note. They already told us they were going to try to rig it, so we know they're going to try that. That's almost boring at this point. As long as people, you go out, still register to vote. Don't let these people dictate what you do. Fuck them. They're not important. You're more important than them. Call your county clerk, register to vote, call your board of elections, and make sure you're registered to vote in your state with your correct address. Go to vote.gov and just vote. Do your part. Register to vote. That's all. Don't sweat these motherfuckers because this going down anyway. They can't stop it. They can try to rig the election. Go ahead, bitch. Go ahead. You still going to fall. So, you know what I mean? The American people hate you. You're a sicko. You and these little groupies protecting pedophiles, people that hurt little girls and little boys. You got a grown-ass men out here talking about Donald Trump likes it in the backside by little boys. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but this is creepy. He's saying that there's a grown-ass man saying Trump likes killing little puppies in front of the kids before he rapes them. Like, it's sad, bro. It's bad. It is fucking bad. You don't get no worse than that. And American people every day are finding out that these people are full of shit. So you can rig the election, but you can't rig the files, bitch. The information is out. Do you know how many victims there were? Like when the victims are out there they're going to tell look, more people are going to point and identify Trump. It is coming. Trust me, more people. And just the fact that they're sweating like that, just to go to the fucking war room to talk about the Epstein files is pathetic. And they actually are the ones that they're supposed to be releasing the files, and it's so fucked up they can't even release the files. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is.
Why they're going to
somebody pissing on Trump? Is somebody pissing on him in the videos? Do they have him in videos with little boys? Do they have him killing puppies? Do they have him killing any people? Snuff videos? That's what's being alleged, bro. Go ahead.
Even the mentions of it, if they even mention these things in the files, that would vaguely verify it enough to turn his base, or at least whoever is not so strongly ingrained in his base, against him, right? When they go to the situation room, the reason for the situation room is to have a closed, controlled meeting, right? They know everyone who was in that room. They know the information that was disseminated in that room, and they know if it gets out, it was the people within that room. And that's why they use the situation room for things like that, right? To tightly control what is being said and tightly control who can say something, right?
Yeah. And now that shit is on front page. Let me see if I can find an article here. Let me see. It was by who was the let me see. Who did he say the journalist was? Let me see here. Let's go back.
What she reported is so deep. Is going to be calling them in to talk about it and to talk about the groundwork for possible impeachment. But the other takeaway is the leak, the detail of which Maggie Haberman reported what she reported is so deep, is so detailed that somebody had to either be recording it or they had to have, or there were transcripts related to it. My two candidates for that, Kash Patel and or Pam Bondi, or people in the room with them, because they phoned in the Situation Room. And therefore, we don't know who was on the other end of that phone call, and they could be cooperating with Maggie Haberman. We talk about the bomb.
So it says this. This is what it says. It says, the War Room, Situation Room leaks published by the New York Times journalist Maggie Haberman. So let me pull that up too. Let's see here. And Jonathan Swan have triggered massive anxiety and a high-profile leak hunt. So they're looking for the person who leaked it. They don't know who it is, right? So they're trying to find it right now. That is insane. The reporting comes from the book Regime Change inside the Imperial Presidency of Donald Trump. Imperial? He's been hanging out with Putin too much. Rather than just one leak, Haberman and Swan have broken 2 separate explosive stories detailing highly classified behind-the-scenes war room meetings that took place in the White House Situation Room. Leak 1, the Iran war room leaks, April 2026. Okay, Haberman and Swan published a richly detailed account of an internal war room meeting leading up to the U.S. military conflict. The scene reporting was specific, including exactly where the officials were seated in the Situation Room. The gathering was kept intentionally small to prevent leaks. Push for war. The leak revealed that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his team heavily pitched the idea of attacking Iran directly to Trump. Okay, so damn, that happened in that meeting. Okay, then there's also internal pushback according to leaked accounts. J.D. Vance was on the few inside inner circle to forcefully warn Trump against it. I don't believe it. But yeah, because he's positioned. A lot of these people are positioning themselves to come out looking like more moderate than Trump, so that they can get power next. So no one's going to try to look more crazy than Trump. They're all going to try to look more moderate. So I don't trust that. But Tucker Carlson warning: the league also revealed the media commentator Tucker Carlson visited the Oval Office multiple times to warn Trump that a war would destroy the presidency. Okay, isn't he such a bitch? God damn, Tucker Carlson, please don't do this. Trump is going to destroy your presidency. Like it's not already destroyed, man. What the hell, man? Anyway, he's that foul. The Epstein file situation. Now, this is the one I wanted to know about. June 2026, right? Haberman, so this has just happened this month. Haberman and Swan dropped an entirely highly sensitive leak regarding how the administration used the secure Situation Room to manage a domestic political crisis rather than a foreign policy. Ain't that a bitch? The cone of silence. Senior administration officials used the secure, unleakable confines of the Situation Room to hold meetings without Trump present. Damn, he wasn't present? To manage political fallout from public fury over the administration's refusal to release the this is the Epstein files is going to tear down anyone who doesn't release them. Like they're all anybody who's down with somebody who's not releasing them, anyone who's not publicly calling for Trump to release more is in trouble. And they already in trouble anyway. So Trump anger. The book reveals that Trump completely shut down any internal discussion regarding the Epstein files, snapping at everyone who brought it up, forcing his staff to coordinate in secret. That's one of the leaks. Okay, then they say J.D. Vance strategy. The leak revealed that J.D. Vance argued to the White House should just release everything to get ahead of Congress. Vance even floated a wild strategy, having Tucker Carlson interview a convicted Epstein associate in prison in an attempt to publicly exonerate Trump. Wow. I mean, how are you going to publicly listen? Nothing is going to exonerate Trump. And the only thing that could is if you release the files and let people find out themselves, and nothing else. Any keep it withholding the truth, withholding the facts means Trump is going down in flames and everybody with him. Intel agency infighting. The leak exposed deep paranoia and lingering distrust with the administration's top law enforcement ranks, specifically between Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, with officials accusing one another of leaking stories to the press. So they accused each other. The aftermath, freaking out over the freakout. The level of detail in Haberman and Swan's reporting has reportedly triggered the White House because the leak details could only have come from a very small handful of people allowed in those secure rooms. Damn, it's actually this bad, bro. I didn't actually realize it was this bad. That's crazy. They falling apart. And but luckily Trump doesn't. Trump is a nasty old man, so he's going to come out and do his part anyway. He's going to hobble out Old Cheeto ogre. Sit there for another day. It's going to be another Groundhog Day. Trump doesn't care about this kind of shit. He cares in a different way. Like, he's furious that it's out there, but he doesn't care about you. So he's going to go to work and do the same thing tomorrow anyway, no matter how bad it looks.
But that's where I was bringing up Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, and Pam Bondi. And, they have, loose reports. I'm not necessarily, I don't know exactly where I heard it from, but they have reports of Dan Bongino yelling at Pam Bondi for having the photo ops of having people come up to the White House and them giving out the binder that already had, information of the Epstein files that were already released, and then saying that there's a list. Yeah. And so he outwardly, yelled at her, or it was like a public or a private spat. And so this is the infighting that has been happening, and it's a part of the reason why Dan ended up leaving, right? He ended up leaving his position, right? And going back to podcasting, right? And now, obviously, like I said before, the Situation Room is
he couldn't handle it. Oh, poor Danny couldn't handle it, huh? He couldn't handle being a king in the FBI. Poor Bongino. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Right? Like, he didn't realize how bad it was until now he's in the inside and like, oh shoot, this is real.
Man, don't make fun of him. Don't make fun of him, bro, man. Being a podcaster is fucking hard work, bro.
Oh yeah, it's so hard. Right? He gets up and spews propaganda every day.
You have to sacrifice to be a podcaster, bro. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, man. Bongino's on my level, bro. He was up here, now he's down here with the rest of us. See? The Bongino, you ain't shit. I told you, you ain't shit. Never gonna be shit. You down here with the rest of us, motherfucker. Okay? All right, go ahead.
And so he was upset that now he's caught up in something that obviously he doesn't want to be seen publicly with or even associated with. And he left his podcasting gig that, if I'm not mistaken, was in like the high $50 to $100 million range to obviously take a public position, right? He thought it would bolster his base.
His podcasting career.
His podcasting career, right? And now he's caught up in this.
Who does that? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to join the FBI to boost up my podcasting career. Man, god damn, dude. Like, he started believing the hype. He believed the hype. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, he did. He believed the hype. He did believe the hype.
He was I could do anything. I'm Dan Bongino. It's easy. They can just release the files, man. They can just release the files. Yep. It's going to be easy, man. Trust me. Biden and Kamala, man. They ain't shit. Biden and Kamala, the problem with America, man, they let Epstein get away with this. But when Trump gets in office, he's just going to release the files. And I'm going to be there to hang every liberal in sight. As soon as he get in office, oops, sorry, ain't nobody open his chickens. This motherfucker's out of here and shit. Cock-a-doodle-doo! I'm out of here. Pew! He hit that track hard as fuck. Yo. Pew! He was out of there, man, like Wild E. Coyote and shit. Bam! Hit another brick wall. In any case, yeah, this guy, man, he's so phony, man. Can you believe that you leave your podcast to go to the FBI just to come back and podcast again? Goddamn. Yeah. You couldn't become an astronaut? Not good enough, huh? He's not brainy enough. Couldn't you do something else, Dan? No. Man, he could have been the dude that reinvented the whole FBI. He could have been another. Nope, he wasn't. He was the guy who quit. I'm going back to podcasting. He's going to go down in history, Dan Bongino. Anyway, sorry about that. Go ahead. I'm off track.
Pathetic. Right. But it goes back to what I was saying before, right? The Situation Room is not for, private or political manners, right? It's not for that. It's not for those matters, right? It is meant for global and highly sensitive information.
Yes.
It's not for, to keep your standing politically wise, right? And so for them to have this meeting, right, and to obviously for it to be a 911, right, to be in the situation room like they've said here, and like I said before,
exactly. Emergency, emergency. Like they were like, gotta go into the war room, talk about the Epstein files. That is terrible, bro. That is, they looking real bad. They looking pathetic. And listen, just because you have money doesn't mean motherfuckers ain't gonna clown you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Truth. Yeah, intellect is a hell of a thing. The intellectual is going to clown you anyway. They don't care about your money. Yeah, exactly.
Let's think about this. We have a whole war in Iran, and we haven't used the situation room for the talks for Iran, but we use.
No, they went to the ice cream parlor. They went to the ice cream parlor to discuss the war in Iran and shit. Like, let me get my app. Can I get my app? Where's WhatsApp at? Let's discuss this while I eat ice cream on my way home, on the way to the ice cream parlor and shit. It's like, these motherfuckers, boy, they're going to be, I mean, it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And I dare say I'm ashamed to be American. I am. I have to say it. I mean, of course, you don't choose what you are. I'm an American.
Yep.
You don't choose it. I know what it feels. It's a lot of people that have been through this before. Every put a 1 in the chat if you understand how I'm feeling. You didn't choose to be born in this country. It just happened to you, you know. But yeah, man, it just happened to me. Goddamn, my parents ain't asked me and shit. But now in retrospect, I have to deal with the fact that I am an American, and it really went bad. Shit went left. I mean, it was inclining left. It had a tendency to just kind of go like this, and then just a little, and then it went like left. It was like, damn, could it go any far left? It's just out there, man. Total, it's total shame, bro. But I know one thing for sure. I want to see some video games about this. I want to see some video games on about this where people can pick up a motherfucking gun and go kill these people, like get them out. That should be a whole video game. Take the country back. Get Elon Musk out of there. Get rid of Peter Thiel. Get rid of Trump, JD Vance. Get rid of Putin out of the White House. Get rid of all of it. Close the case on Netanyahu. That should be a whole video game. Americans, we got 350 people. If we want it, they'll make it. It'll be made. You see what I mean? A lot of people will buy it. What could the name be? We'll see
this game years from now.
What could the name be? Epstein Island? Yeah. Yeah. Damn, that's a hell of a name, bro. Anyway, all right. I'm sorry, man. I know I'm getting off track, but you know, hey, these are all things that are possible. All right, so well, you know, man, the stock market has been going around. I'm about to I'm taking a look at my investments and moving them around a little bit. Gold is going to go back up, so I just want to give a little warning. Gold has been holding. It dropped since it went to 40. It was up there and then it dropped maybe like a little over 1/3 of its value again, and it's been sitting around there. But sooner or later it's going to go back up. So I'm about to put all my shit back in gold, and before it goes back up, I'm expecting all of this to accumulate into a big boom with this administration. I mean, who knows? But I think the economy is what's getting me. I think the fact that pretty soon the real numbers are going to have to be shown. And I don't think this administration, I think they basically have made it to where they can hide what's really going on economically and make the stock market look strong. I think it's suffering right now. The job markets are going to lead to less spending. You know what I mean? So I think the dollar's going to be affected, but who knows? Yeah. So that's what I'm looking into right now myself personally, and I got a few other endeavors, but listen, bro. I'm gonna let you close it out today, bro. We gotta close shop for a minute. We'll be back in 18 hours, but there's obviously more news. This administration is so busy everywhere, attacking every aspect of life, that it is impossible to cover all the shit. There's always tomorrow, and there's always 100 more foul-ass things this administration is doing. But in the meantime, everybody, if you haven't gone out there and registered to vote, do that. I know I keep repeating it, but it is so important. That's the thing to do right now. Register to vote. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a stranger. Register to vote. Walk down the street. Don't be afraid to say fuck Trump. Did I tell you I actually ran into a cat from Philly in a bar late. I was out with my cousin like a week ago or something like that, and we went to a few spots, right? And I ran into somebody from Philly in there, downtown in the Walking Street, the center of Copenhagen, right? The old part of it. And everybody was like, fuck Trump. We left that place like, fuck Trump, just out on the street. Fuck Trump. That's what's going on over here, man. Everybody understands, like, this guy is crazy. And in America, don't be afraid. Like, enjoy this time. Look, they beat people down. They terrorized Americans. Listen, one thing you got to do with the life you have is represent what you feel. And if walking down the street saying fuck Trump makes you feel good, go right ahead. If it makes you feel good on the train, go right ahead. If it's going to cheer somebody up, say it. I think it's going to cheer people up. Fuck Trump. The everyday person, the average person. Now, but register to vote while you do that, right? Tell them fuck Trump, and then say, are you registered to vote? Don't forget to register to vote. Register to vote. Give them some information. And then the other thing is, look at this. HR 8800, paragraph 224. From here out, if this passes, it's going to the floor this month. Share the news on that. HR 8800. I talked to a lot of people that said they're actually starting to hear about this now. So talk about it. This bill, HR 8800. Israel wants American citizens to permanently finance it without Congress's oversight. So that means they won't have to every year go back and ask for more money. They don't want to do that anymore. They just want it to be constant, right? And so if you're for that, support it. If you're not, tell a friend. HR, you can even say that. HR 8800, y'all. HR 8800. Tell Congress to vote it down. You just got to talk. Say what you feel. Get the message out there. Inform people. You know what I mean? And because that's how we're going to change things. Trolls can't come outside. Always remember that. They're only on the internet. So that's the real part about trolling. You see what I mean? They don't get to talk. So go outside and talk, and be yourself. That's what I do. That's my advice. Mike, you want to close out? That was it?
Yeah, no, I think, as long as the viewers know to obviously register to vote, see who the progressive representative is in your state, right? And it's not only about voting, it's about voting in the right people who represent your values, who represent what you want to see, the change that you want to see, right? Find out who those progressives are and vote them in, back them, and like you said, it starts, tell a friend, but most importantly, tell your family. Tell the people who you have some of the, the most contact with, if it's not your coworkers, it's your family, me personally, me and my grandmother, right? My grandmother of 83 years old, we speak on this, right? We speak on politics. We speak to her and her demographic. Fortunately for me, she's a very progressive individual, even at her age. And
that's so
she
nice.
Speaks to her.
That's nice to have a progressive grandma.
It's
intelligent grandma, Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet.
It's
intelligence and sweetness usually go together, bro.
Look, it's made me proud, right?
Yeah.
And reminds me of the ideals that I hold. And hopefully when I reach her age, I can be just as progressive as she is, especially coming from a time where women couldn't vote, women couldn't open a business, right? These are the times that she was born in and the reality that she faced. And, to see the growth that, even just women's rights or basic human rights has come, and for her to still be progressive and not be that, that angry old woman with a cane saying these young people it is very refreshing. So it starts with your family, right? So, reach out to, your cousins, your uncles, whoever you keep in contact with, your family, and have these discussions, right? You want to make sure that some of the people closest to you understand how and why you see progression. When we talk about the NDAA Act, explain this to, your coworkers, explain this to your family members, so they just don't, vote off of your appeal to it, but also their understanding of it, right? I truly believe that, the first step in being a progressive is educating, right? Being an educator first,
So is
giving
this the
people
guy
the
right here?
education behind why you do what you do, why you believe what you believe in, and that not only gets them to buy into the progressive movement, but understand the progressive movement, right? So now they can properly educate someone else who may not be as progressive. That's for me what it means to be a progressive. That's for me
Facts.
what it means to, and hold your representatives, your senators, and your local assembly members accountable by just reaching out to them, and just having the basic conversations that we have here on the cast. Have those conversations with your assembly members, with your Congress members. Have that conversation with them to let them know that you're a literate voter, that you know what you're speaking about, and by sharing these ideals, they at least have a face that they can put to when they are representing you.
Facts, bro. Damn.
That's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
Well said, man. Well said. Yeah, exactly. Yo, thanks for that. I appreciate that. That was a great way to close it out. I mean, and appreciate you, Mike from Brooklyn. Yo, Michael from Brooklyn, put your tag and everybody go and let me put it in the chat. As a matter of fact, I have it right
Thank
here.
you.
Let me put that in the chat and let me see. I saw Fry's out here, but we're gonna get it this weekend. The weekend's not over. But let me see here. Everybody go to Michael's page and do me a favor. I'm going to put it in the chat right now and subscribe to his page. Also, there we go. Big up to Mike for hopping up and giving an excellent commentary as usual. It's not easy to do that, especially, consistently, but also at this time, it's early wee hours of the morning in the US. So I started the podcast at 3 a.m. So big up for coming out. That's not easy to do, yeah. So real warriors out there, bro. I appreciate that. Now, you said something about progressive voters, the progressive candidates. Here's one, and this is interesting. Listen to this.
Democrats keep telling us to avoid
every single dollar that is spent on a bomb is stolen from each and every one of you, because that's a dollar that they spend blowing up a school overseas instead of building schools in your neighborhoods.
This is the stance that every single member of the Democratic Party needs to be taking right now, because it's true. Every single dollar that we spend on blowing up schools overseas should be a dollar spent on building schools here in the United States of America. That is how the Democratic Party is going to win and become the actual America First policy. Because, folks, think about it. This is what Donald Trump won on. He ran on America First, which included building stuff here, making stuff here, doing things here, not blowing up kids over there. We don't want that anymore. Nobody wants endless wars. That is what people voted for Trump for, and they got duped. There needs to be an actual anti-war, pro-American working family party, and hopefully that can become the Democratic Party.
Single dollar that is spent on a bomb is stolen from each and every one of you. Single dollar that is spent on every single dollar that is spent on a bomb is stolen from each and every one of you, because that's a dollar that they spend blowing up a school overseas instead of building schools in your neighborhood. Every single dollar that is spent on a bomb is stolen from each and every one of you, because that's a dollar that they spend blowing up a school overseas instead of building schools in your neighborhoods.
Facts. All right, y'all.
This is the stance that every single member.
I'll catch you all later today. Appreciate everybody for coming out. I'll be back in the wee hours of the morning again, approximately about 17 hours from now. Big up. if you haven't seen the beginning of the podcast, I talk a little bit about myself this time, give a little bit more information, even though it's out there, it's in the public. If you're interested in knowing the real dude, just go back and rewind the video. Appreciate it. Register to vote. Fuck Trump. Release the Epstein files. Stand up. Don't shy away from this. Some of us are going to die in this moment, and some of us are going to continue, but you don't control that. What you do control is how you stand up straight when you have your time to be on this earth. So let's all stand up together. Appreciate it, y'all. Be back. One.
So listen. Only this wonder every day, children dying. What about the children crying? No.
What about the kids?
Don't forget the children.
What about the children?
What about the children crying?
I wish someone would tell me when is the suffering gonna stop. I see time ticking, fuck your watch. There comes a time when man steps to the plate, but it won't matter if your mentality is fake. Where I'm from, we got a system, overcrowded prisons, 2 cents an hour, man. Listen, shit don't change if we keep exploiting each other. One day you find out you only did it to your brother. A homeless mother, a baby, no supper. She got a husband and father, they both love her, but they can't find work cause the people with the power, they got a strange way to govern. Their price tags say nothing. Life is funny, then again it's really not. People dying for what other people got. I asked God if he could come and change the shit. He said, hell no, it's you that's gotta change, bitch.
Every day the children dying. What about the children crying? One.
inherited from our harshest past, embedded in our society's identity. But then again, can you tell me that's free? They explain to you what your mind should perceive, suggest things they want you to believe, like your skin color dictates your race. They're calling you an idiot to your face, like life is much more simple than that. We're all slaves and the cards are stacked, while we fight over problems we can fix. Industrialists turn our kids to addicts. The television does a job, introduce you. The radio's right there to seduce you, keep you locked on the wrong damn track. Cigarettes is just legalize crack. They want you to catch a damn heart attack. They want you to catch a damn heart attack. But stop believing in the flag, it's a crap. Cause men rule this world, that's a fact. They don't know, they don't know. But I'm gonna make it right tonight. They don't lie, they don't lie. But I'm gonna say it like I know. They don't know, they don't know. That I'm gonna hit them with this shit. They don't lie, they don't lie. That you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. That you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. That you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. That you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. If you see a man that needs help, then help a brother. If you see a sister on her own, still love her. Cause life is about how you choose to see it. But you gotta teach people how to learn to see it. The planet's been through suffering many times. We propagate many wars many times. The people need to wake up and stop accepting deceit from their own government's deception. You can't blame the people for needing protection from the government's bad reputation. We need to sing a song called Free the Nation. Cause we done had a whole lot of separation. Racism, classism, nationalism, based on keeping people out on the plantation. That's the plan, no doubt. Cause rich people got a plan, no doubt. If you still don't understand and believe that we are all one from the same mother, and respect each woman and man with the same consideration you would like to be given on a daily, then you need to retire so the new generation can take over and show you how to live and govern this place we call Earth home. To the human bliss.
Everybody here, yeah.
They don't know, kid. They don't know, they don't know. But I'm gonna make it right tonight. They don't lie, they don't lie. But I'm gonna say it like I know. They don't know, they don't know. That I'm gonna hit them with this shit. They don't lie, they don't lie. That I'm gonna free your mind tonight. They don't know, they don't know. That I'm gonna make it right tonight. They don't lie, they don't lie. But I'm gonna say it like I know. They don't know, they don't know. That I'm gonna hit them with this shit. They don't lie, they don't lie. That I'm gonna free your mind tonight. Yo, the time, the place, where you just focus on the things that are real in your life. Cause the others, they ain't got what's necessary, the necessary ingredients, but we do. Check it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. Orientation in this place we call Earth. Love from conception, from your mom, your birth. Pops planted the seed in the turf. From there, you must find out what life is worth. Grew up learning your do's and don'ts before working on your motor skills, working on your coordination, right? And orientation to what you like. The brand new thing, so gentle the soul we're capturing in this
distance. The alphabets the kids sing. They celebrate when it's time to go outside. As you get older, you learn to let all the troubles in your life just glide away. Stay focused, keep it smooth, keep you cool. Things in life can make it get rude. If you let it, don't let it. 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 If you let it, let it. Let it what? If you let it, don't let it. Let it. If you let it, what? Don't let it. If you let it, don't let it. Let it. Don't let it.
We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We embark on this journey.